What is this? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very rare species of Silkmoth. And let me tell you something. Its life cycle is going to blow your mind, especially the caterpillars. I am utterly stunned. I am utterly amazed. I am utterly flabbergasted. Wow, 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 wow. Look at these moths and also their color variation. Wow! What are these, ladies and gentlemen? They vary so much in color, don't they? And I have several of them. They really look like polyphemus moths, don't they? But they really aren't. This is actually a sister species of the polyphemus moth that is endemic to Mexico. This one is called Antheraea montezuma, and it's one of the rarest silk moths in the silk moth breeding hobby. Now guys, the real question that people often ask is it possible to raise this species in captivity? That's a good question. It's a difficult to breed species, many have failed. However, I think it's possible. The food plant of this species appears to be oak tree. So, I have good news for all of you. We're going to give it a try. So you're watching a new episode of MothCycles about a very rare species from Mexico. Antheraea montezuma, a species that not many moth breeders ever get to raise in their lifetime. It's a very beautiful, variable species that reminds us of Antheraea polyphemus. But here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna give it a try. In this episode of MothCycles. Let's start the intro. This story begins with eggs. Eggs of a very rare species of moth. In a little petri dish as usual, folks. Emergency. This place is a mess. Emergency, emergency. Emergency. This place is a mess, but I am working. This is my insect breeding station. But there's been an emergency, ladies and gentlemen. It's the middle of the night and I am just taking care of all my insects. I have a lot of species, believe it or not. But right now I have over 50 species of moths in this very moment. But the eggs of one of my most special species ever have just hatched. Finally, after many years of waiting, I have obtained some eggs of Antheraea montezuma. Now, Antheraea montezuma is one of those American species of Antheraea. There's 5 species on the American continent. The polyphemus moth, Antheraea polyphemus, Antheraea godmani, Antheraea montezuma, Antheraea oculea, and Antheraea meridiana, which is a newly described species. Maybe you haven't heard of it yet. We'll talk about it after the discussion. But first we need to address this problem. And I want to show you a close-up. I hope this rearing goes well. This species is hard to obtain. So if the caterpillars don't grow well, it could take me years, literal years, before I can try this species again. Anyway, so this species really likes leaves of oak trees. So I have some containers here. Here's a bottle of water. It keeps the leaf of the oak tree fresh. This is how I will raise the first instars. I've been told they like to be warm and dry. Now the good news is currently in the Netherlands it's quite warm. So if my source is true, I will look it up. Then they should be happy for the next few weeks, because we're currently in a heat wave in the Netherlands. That's why I'm working at night right now. So to avoid the heat during the day. Now the Netherlands is not a very warm country, except for a few weeks in summer, I guess. Now eggs of moths are very easy to hatch. You can use many kinds of containers. Personally, I prefer to use petri dishes. And now if we take a close-up here. So these are the eggs of our Antheraea montezuma. And as you can see, the babies, they look very similar to the polyphemus moth. Perhaps slightly just bigger. And the eggs are kind of oval. So let's get started. So baby caterpillars are very vulnerable, and you want to use a paintbrush to pick them up, because your fingers can actually crush them, believe it or not. Because our fingers are just that powerful compared to a small baby caterpillar. And I'm going to scoop them up with the paintbrush and place them. So I'm just using a paintbrush to scoop them up very gently and place them in these two different rearing containers. I'm going to separate them in two containers because I believe I have too many caterpillars to place in one box. Oh boy, if we succeed with this, this will be something special. I am nervous, but years of experience have sharpened my mind. Let's go. This is a brilliant moment for my channel. Alright people, here's two containers with caterpillars in them of perhaps one of the most precious species I try to raise on this channel in since many years. Like this one, together with the smoky emperor moth, Paraderphia fumosa, is probably one of the most difficult to obtain species in the hobby. Well, that's not true. What's difficult to obtain in the hobby actually changes every few years. Some species that are common in the hobby today can be hard to get in the hobby tomorrow. It's because laws change, legislations change, and it's a small hobby, so it's dependent on a small amount of people. So anyway, so I've been told that if you leave these on room temp for a few days, they should be fine. I hope this is true. I'm kind of nervous. This is a very unique opportunity to raise something extraordinary. We've already done polyphemus and godmani on this channel, so montezuma would be an excellent addition to my rearing list. Today is going to be an extra long video for the biggest moth freaks out there in the world. Don't worry, I'm also going to make a shorter version of this video, but this is the long version, and I just want to say Antheraea montezuma is rare, and I'm super proud of the fact that we are trying to raise it right now. You're not gonna get this content from many other channels on YouTube. So let's see what happens in just a few days. Ladies and gents, the legendary Antheraea montezumas are now, I think it's 3 days old. Gonna make a quick close-up really for you, show you the progress. How are they doing? All of us are curious. If we can pull this off, this would be legendary to have on my channel. Really. So, actually got 2 boxes of them. See how they're doing. What's up, guys? Slowly but surely, the caterpillars are growing. I wonder if we run into challenges and problems. I really want these to make it. It's probably one of the most special species that I've raised up until this point. Let me show you some more impressions of these cute little babies. So what food do I give them? Well, one of the favorite plants of this species is oak tree. They eat many types of oak tree. Currently I'm using the species Quercus robur. Maybe they can eat other plants too that are not oak trees, but that hasn't been tested very much. Oak tree is their native food plant, however, so I imagine it's the best option. The good news is we do know they can eat many types of oak tree. Now at a certain point the caterpillars had outgrown the boxes that I was raising them in, and eventually they do need to be moved to a bigger box. Preferably one with more ventilation. So this species likes it, in my opinion, more on the dry side, and not completely bone dry, just more on the dry side, so just give them a bit of generous ventilation. Let me show you what I did next. Yo, this is sexy Moth King Bart Coppens with the daily moth update, Antheraea montezuma, and today I want to move them into a bigger enclosure. See this big box here? It has even some oak tree. And that's what I want to rear them in right now. So I'm gonna take them out of these tiny containers that have done a good job of containing them until the second instar. Most of them are now instar number 2, but it's not sufficient. I think some more space is definitely warranted, so let's take them from this, see how they're doing, and then move them into something bigger. I really hope they're gonna make it. I'm really nervous. I'll make this an extra long video if they make it. So one tip is that the suckers on the feet of Antheraea montezuma are very strong, so don't rip the caterpillars off the leaf. Always let them sit where they are currently sitting. I just use scissors to kind of cut them off the vegetation like this. If I see some caterpillars, I just cut away the leaf around them so they can be displaced very easily. There you go. So all the branches with some caterpillars on them, I take them apart like this. Here's a caterpillar. There you go. So definitely don't take them off the vegetation against their will. That would be very bad for them. Oh, there goes another caterpillar. So that's just a beginner level tip, but I'm saying it anyway. Because this species really have strong feet. Antheraea in general have very strong feet. They don't really let go of where they're sitting. Next, what I do is I take the leaf litter and I literally place it in here with their new food plant. So I take the caterpillars, place them in their new enclosure, just like that. And it should work. There you go, it should work. A little bit of progress was visible in a short time. Caterpillars tend to grow really fast in some life stages. So if they are eating, their weight gain gives it away. It's always a stressful moment to see if caterpillars are actually willing to eat and gaining weight or not. In this case, they seem to have started eating. Alright, lots of caterpillars in here, as you can see here in the oak tree. So some legendary montezumas, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Just look at that, so beautiful and unusual. Fantastic. Let me place these in their new enclosure also, so that they may feed on fresh oak leaves. Oops, I have to sort this out a bit better because some of them are falling down. There you go, guys. Go and eat some of the fresh leaves, alright? Well, guys, that's it for now. Sun is coming up, by the way. I've got a small hole here for a little bit of ventilation. Just a little bit. I think they will be fine like this on room temp. I'll just have to check back a few days later as usual. We know the drill, right? We've made many of these episodes together. Looking good. Let's see what happened a few days later. Ladies and gentlemen, Montezuma update. Here I have the container of the Montezuma here behind me. Feeding on an oak tree. See how they're doing. Ah, this looks like instar number 3. It's very pretty. Oh, let me show you. That's nice looking. It's cool. Truly, the entomologist's heart skips a beat at the mere sight of these larvae. I reject all the material treasures on this planet in favor of the natural ones. I do not aim to possess these treasures, but rather to admire them, to learn about them, and to make them a part of me. To surround me with boundless forms, colors, and shapes. All of the ones that the world has to offer. Incredible. Fantastic, mesmerizing, I should say. Wow, I noticed that some of these have transformed now in the 3rd life stage. And their first signs of beauty are beginning to shine through. Amazing. Beautiful. Subtle hints of what's to come. But they're already beautiful. I feel like it's too early to do a count yet. Let's wait until they're like maybe instar 4 before we count how many we have. But we do have Some real shiny babies, as you can see. Can you see them? There's plenty of them here in the branches. It's actually kind of cool. This truly is a fascinating species. I hope I pull it off. It's a rare species, it's a expensive species, you know. It's not offered every year. Only once every few years. So if you get eggs of this species and you fail, unfortunately that means you probably have to wait a few years before they are offered again. So yeah, so far I don't have any complaints. I'm happy with this progress so far. And they're really pretty, really shiny. Caterpillars of this species are amazing. It's probably one of my favorite caterpillars. Although it's very difficult to choose a top favorite. Oh man, but they are beautiful. Let me show you. Antheraea montezuma is a pretty alpha male species to raise in captivity. And caterpillars just shed their skins. I felt like I had to show you the next instar, right? Some progress is always good. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Is that not fantastic? With pets like these, I never have to go to a jewelry shop because I have my gemstones here right with me all the time at home. And they're living gemstones. Look at how amazing. And this is a really crazy metallic color. I've never seen anything like it. It's a mix of silver, purple and pink somehow, depending on the angle. It's so weird and it's so beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful caterpillars that anyone can raise. It's definitely in the top 5 best caterpillars I ever saw. That's crazy. It's exquisite. It's beautiful. Just look at that. Wow. Fascinating, isn't it? This creature, it blows me away. The world of insects is so fascinating, you know. It's so sad that species like these don't get any attention, you know. Thankfully my channel exists. I feel like I'm one of the only person who cares. Here's another caterpillar. This one is shedding its skin soon. See the difference? Instar 3 versus Instar 4. I'm not sure, but I think this species has 6 instars. I guess we'll find out soon. Well, there's a certain amount of caterpillars in here. You can see it. This one should be an instar 4. Here we find ourselves an instar number 3. Instar number 4. I'm giving them a mix of evergreen oak, Quercus ilex, and I think this is Quercus robur. So interestingly, they seem to feed on both. Like here, the evergreen oak, the larvae, they will eat it. Like no problem. See? At the same time, they will also eat the other types of oak with no issues. They don't seem to be picky at all. They don't even... They do. I think they do have a slight preference maybe for the evergreen oak for some reason, even though it's tough as nails. It's basically dry leaves that are as tough as like cardboard. But they don't seem to discriminate between this and the European kinds of oak tree that I found. Such nice larvae. As you can see, there's about a dozen of them, I think, in here. So yeah, that's good progress, isn't it? Shiny caterpillars. Shiny caterpillars. That's good. That's good. Oh, this must be the 4th life stage. I'm getting nervous because it's a rare and expensive species. And if they don't make it, it's gonna be many years before I can ever try them again. Believe it or not, but you're watching something truly rare in this world. Only a handful of people have seen what the caterpillars of these rare moths look like in real life. But you won't get anyone talking about it, since people don't care about moths that much. As much as they care about panda bears, tigers or snow leopards. Nonetheless, there are even fewer people who film the life cycle of this species. Exactly 0 people, that is. Only on my channel can you see the life cycle of such rare species in high definition. There is no other channel that even comes close. Well, so far things are looking good. Guess I'll have to check back a few days later. And then, a few days later, gonna check up on the Montezuma now every few days. Just because they are that awesome, but also because we monitor them closely. It's very warm and they're going through the food fast. And because of the warm weather, the food dries out fast, you know. Let's take a close look every day. It's looking good again today. Oh wow, look at what they look like. It's like they're covered with little gemstones. Yes, that's right. These caterpillars are going to develop bright iridescent patches on their body. The color can be described as pink, purple or silver depending on the angle that you're looking at them. Very unusual stuff. Just look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Fantastic. These are so colorful. These have so much bling bling going on. It's crazy. How do they create these colors? That's crazy, yeah? Wow. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. This one down here is one of our biggest ones so far, I think. This one is ahead of the rest for sure. That's probably gonna be like a big female or something. It's so cool. I love it. Absolutely incredible. What a delight. What an extreme delight. I'm gonna write poems about this. It's so amazing. Look at these caterpillars. My eyes are blessed. My soul is blessed. I'm clean of the sins of earth. Oh wow, I should start a cult. No, seriously. I have never seen something so beautiful. I really like these caterpillars. To be honest, there weren't that much updates. I just needed an excuse to look at the pretty caterpillars because they're pretty as hell. I love them. Let's hope they make it. It's not the easiest species. It's not super hard, but it's not easy. And then it's just a matter of giving the caterpillars fresh food every few days, changing the food. It becomes this cycle. Keep them clean, keep them dry, and they'll probably make it. It's a sensitive species. Not many people have raised it, but mine seem to like what I was giving them so far. Once again, it's a few days later, and once again, it's a time to check how they are doing. It's a very systematic thing that we are doing, isn't it? So one thing that's interesting is I've always been giving the caterpillars of this species a mix of two types of oak tree. So here we have normal oak. I think this is Quercus robur maybe. I'm not a botanist, I could be wrong. So this is basically the normal type of oak tree that we have here everywhere in Europe. And it's the deciduous type that loses its leaves in winter. But I also have holm oak, Quercus ilex. This is a type of evergreen oak. And I notice in pretty much every case the caterpillars, they often prefer to feed on the evergreen type. So that's interesting in my opinion. I'm not sure why. But I really have the impression that more caterpillars are eating the evergreen stuff than the normal oak. They don't seem to discriminate that much. Like here we have one caterpillar feeding on what I call the regular oak. But most of the caterpillars are on the tough evergreen dry stuff. And I think they really just prefer that, in my opinion. That's what I think. So it's an interesting observation for rearing. If you have evergreen oak tree, it's very suitable for this species. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Now we can see some of the caterpillars are getting stupidly big and stupidly shiny. Oh my god. Look at how shiny it is. That is insane. That is really crazy. Look at that. I've never seen such a thing. This is the most glittery caterpillar that I have ever reared myself. That is just crazy. Wow. Well, I'm going to be honest. One of the major reasons to raise this species is simply because of the caterpillars. Like the moth of this species is awesome too. They're spectacular. They kind of look like a polyphemus moth. But their wings are kind of more shaped like a jigsaw puzzle. It's very unique. But let's be real. As nice as the moths are, it's the caterpillars who really make this species exceptional. Like the metallic iridescence is just out of this world. That's so crazy. Just look at the weird shiny blue, violet, metallic, pink, silver, I don't even know what to call it. It's so weird. This is so strange, but it's so cool. Wow. It's a rare species too. This one is very difficult to obtain for any breeder. If you manage to find eggs of this species, you're really lucky. Like not many people will ever get to raise this one. Of course Bart Coppens does, because he is just a lucky bastard who gets all the best species. But like seriously, that's insane. Wow. The other caterpillars are less shiny because they are one instar behind. But they will follow soon. I mean, they're still very shiny. Can you see that? Like they also have the weird metallic. That's very gorgeous. But not as much as this big caterpillar here. And that's because the big caterpillar on the right is just is one instar ahead. It's just growing faster than some of its brothers and sisters for some reason. That's kind of normal. If you raise Saturniids, you'll have individuals who grow very fast and some who grow slower. That's normal. It doesn't mean anything is wrong. Can you see the difference? This caterpillar does not look okay. I think it managed to injure itself somehow. It looks like it has had a bleeding somewhere. Can you see it? There's like a black spot here and some dried up brown goo. I think somehow this caterpillar managed to injure itself when it was shedding its skin. It looks very fresh, like it just molted. Now a little bit of blood loss is fine if the bleeding has stopped. I'm hoping it starts eating soon so its health can recover. Well, there you go, folks. So how many caterpillars do we have? I think we have about 10 of them. That's not a huge amount, but with some luck I have some more pairings soon and some more eggs. I'll be honest, I'm happy that they are surviving at all and making it so far. In my opinion, this is not a very easy species, although I've been told by some other breeders that they are easy. In my opinion, they are definitely more difficult than the polyphemus moth. I'm not sure if they are more difficult than the Antheraea godmani, one of its cousins that I have reared on YouTube several times at this point. They do seem to prefer a more dry environment, while godmani wants to be humid. That seems to be the main difference. I'm not really sure what to make of them. It's really my first attempt. And well, I guess I'm happy so far. Like if we manage to get like 10 caterpillars to the cocoon stage, that would be, I would see that as a major thing. Maybe 10 is not a lot, but like for my first attempt with a, you know, maybe not super difficult, but definitely more difficult than average species that I have no experience with. You know, getting 10 of them to the cocoons would be an acceptable result for me, and I would not complain. But they say don't count your chickens before they hatch. Most of them have more than one instar to go, so that means, you know, I'm going to be taking care of them for a while. For like at least another month, you know. And in that time there's a lot that can go wrong. Let's not jinx it though. But yeah, you have to be realistic. It is not yet time to celebrate and say that we've made it. Last instars are very mean like that. Sometimes it looks like a species is growing well, and in the final instar they just collapse. So I don't think that's gonna happen because they look healthy, but you never know, you know, all it takes is like one disease or something. But yeah, I'm proud of this so far. And oh, the gorgeous caterpillars are just such a treat. Such an incredible treat. Now this is definitely the biggest. I think this is the... We only have 2 caterpillars in the final instar, I believe. I believe this is the final instar. I'm not even sure, but yeah, I think this is the final instar. We have 2 larvae in the final instar, and the rest seems to be in instar number 4. There you go. It's eating already. You can see that? It likes chewing this dry old oak. It's funny because the evergreen oak tree, I had very bad results with it for most species. Like most species, they hate the dry evergreen oak leaf, but I'm happy to have found one species that likes it at least. There you go. Satisfy your hunger. Funny thing about caterpillars is if you think about it, they're just really fancy maggots. There you go. Well, at least they're vegetarian, not eating my trash. That's I wouldn't mind having these maggots in my garbage. If only. Sorry, houseflies, I'm dissing you. Just look at its feet. They have strong jaws that just tear the dry old holm oak apart. There you go. Enjoy that, buddy. I would be so happy if we can make a MothCycles about this rarity. Like, yo, that would be like the best episode probably of MothCycles so far if we do this species. Okay, like, then I can say I am Bart Coppens. I raised freaking godmani and montezuma, and I filmed their life cycle on YouTube. That's crazy. You know, eventually I'm going to raise all the world's rarest Saturniidae. I don't care. I am going to raise the Hercules moth. I'm going to raise the rarest moon moth from Vietnam, like Arctius chapai. Just give me the time, okay? Just give me the time to obtain these rare species and give me the time to rear them. That's gonna take time and a lot of money because it's an expensive hobby, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna. I'm still kind of young. I'm 29 years old. That's not young, but I have 3-4 good decades left, maybe. So, and you know what? When I'm 70, I'll probably still rearing caterpillars. I'm never going to stop until I grow old, and even when I grow old, I'm never going to stop. So you better follow this freaking channel and see all the awesome silk moths that are going to be on here, because my ambition is to have the life cycles of all the unusual silk moths on one YouTube channel. That's right. And you guys get to enjoy it for free, and you guys get to learn from my experiences. That's what we do. We pass on knowledge to the next generation. We pass on knowledge to the rest of the world so everybody can learn about insects. That's what we want. We want to build a future where everyone cares about insects, their fascinating life cycles, and their fascinating biology. I would be so happy if I can get more people interested in silk moths and their relatives and hog moths, and that's really what I live for, you know. Insects have always given my life purpose. That's literally what I live for. I'm not even joking. I love them, and I love to see them thrive. I love to see a future where we care about these animals and how important they are for the environment and such. That would be awesome. That would make me very happy. Hope to be a positive influence on YouTube. Well, that's it for today. Still looking good. I'm pleased. Let's check back a few days later. Guys, I started with about 30 eggs. And in the first life stages there were some losses, but since then they've been growing well. And now I have about a dozen of Antheraea montezuma. I think most of them are instar 4 and 5. And every few days I just check up on them. much to my surprise, like there's... I don't see any losses yet, so I'm starting to feel really optimistic. If we pull this off, if we can raise this species to cocoons, yeah, that's gonna be legendary for my channel. Like, then no one would be able to deny that I am the sexy moth king. Like, we've already raised many rare species on this channel, but this is like one of those top species, you know? If you're a silk moth breeder and you want to prove yourself by raising some rare stuff, this is one of them. Some of them that are still missing on my list is probably the Hercules moth, that would be awesome. And maybe Edward's Atlas moth, that would be awesome as well. Actias chapai. But who knows, I'm young, I have a lot of time, I'm gonna rear everything. Today we're focusing on this species. I do notice some of the caterpillars are growing more slowly. That is not necessarily a good thing. Some of the runs sometimes don't make it to the cocoon. So yeah. But there's more good news. I had, behind the scenes, I had another pairing. And that means I have a female moth that's going to lay even more eggs. So maybe we're going to raise even more than this. I'm gonna scream if I succeed. That would be a dream. This is a dream species. Now, one thing I've decided is I'm going to film the caterpillars of this species much more than any other species. Usually I film like a vlog update once per week. But for this species I'm going to do it like once every 3 days. Because the caterpillars are so gorgeous, they're going to be the best part of this video. Like, no offense, the moths are awesome, but the caterpillars with their shiny metallic, I have never seen something like it, and I've raised many moths. Now, some caterpillars have golden iridescence, like the Chinese moon moth caterpillar, you know. I don't know if you've seen that episode, Actias Hibernating. But I've never seen pink, purple, blue, silver metallic like this in any kind of caterpillar before. It's gorgeous, it's amazing, it makes this species really, really special. Like, dang. They're so beautiful. And we do see like big size difference, like this caterpillar right here. Kinda looks like a... Yeah, this body right here is gonna be like an instar number 4. He's a little bit behind, but that's fine. I hope they all make it, even the slow growing ones. And they're really loving the evergreen oak tree. Really loving it, as you can see. Yes, eat it. So I think this is actually my biggest caterpillar right here, I think, and I think this is the final instar, and I think it's like maybe 2-3 weeks away from spinning. The last instar of this species does last several weeks, I've heard. I don't know, it's my first time rearing them, but that's what I've been told. So, but that's fine, we're gonna keep taking care of them. It's fantastic. Now here's another bottle with more caterpillars. So here's the proof they can eat regular oak tree as well. So this caterpillar is eating the regular oak. And they really don't seem to discriminate sometimes, because they will go from eating regular, the deciduous oak tree, and then they will go back to feeding the evergreen oak tree. I'm giving the caterpillars free choice, so they can choose whatever they prefer, they can choose whatever they like. And so far it's working out. But you have to say here, look, most of the caterpillars, 1 on the evergreen oak, 2 on the evergreen oak, 3 on the evergreen oak, 4 on the evergreen oak, and only 1 on the deciduous oak. So here, these leaves don't show much feeding damage. So it's, to me, my impression is really they prefer the evergreens.
For a fleeting moment in their youth, they carry gems on their skin. Nature's own treasure, shining once and then never again. What a beautiful species, man, it makes me emotional. But they seem to be a soft green, like fresh leaves in the spring. But along their sides shine small jewels, luminous pink gems, glistering, as if morning dew has crystallized into treasures on their body. Amazing, I can't stop talking about it. Each of them just seems unreal. A secret gift that nobody sees, it's just hidden here in plain sight, turning an ordinary caterpillar into a living ornament. Wow. Amazing. Look at how they carry their little gems. It's as if the forest itself has crowned them.
And then, a few days later, people, right now it is late summer, the sun is shining in my face, and I was just checking on how my caterpillars were doing. And they're just out here being ridiculously beautiful. Take a look at that. Our beautiful babies. Very pleasing result if you ask me. And I do think that most of them are now in the final instars, as you can see. There's a lot of them. Let's switch the cam. So the caterpillars of this species, they definitely don't appreciate being handled extensively. Stressing them is actually a bad idea. They're kind of sensitive, but the paradox is that they are so beautiful. How do you not constantly handle something so precious? It feels like this is one of the strongest exercises in self-control, and I'm losing because I am still handling them. But like, just look at these colors, dude. This is incredible. It's unbelievable. Like the shininess, everything about them is insane. Sorry for my finger, guys. I hurt myself accidentally. There you go. Wow. So this is not even all my caterpillars, but it is most of them. Like, I'm really trying hard not to harass all the caterpillars I have constantly, you know. You have to be mindful. But how can I not make close-ups of this species all the time? Rarely in my life have I seen something so gorgeous. Sorry for a disturbing wound on my finger, guys. Yeah. I scraped myself against a piece of plastic. This one just shed, and it's eating his old skin. Can you see it? It's eating the old larval skin. So one thing that's a fun fact about caterpillars is when they shed their skins, sometimes they will consume the old skin they left behind, and that's because, you know, the cuticle, it contains chitin, but also a lot of nitrogen that is precious to them. That's harder to get from plants sometimes, so they consume the old skin to recover some of the nutrients they lose when they shed their old skin. And like, wow, these caterpillars, wow, these are definitely in my top 3 best caterpillars I've ever seen. Like they just have mirrors on their body. Can you see it? Like the shininess is like a mirror. It is so incredible. I am obsessed. I am in love. And I hope touching them does not disturb them too much right now. But look at how they're eating, right? Look at how they're eating. What would be fantastic is if they made cocoons for me soon. I'm wondering how close they are to pupation right now. So, like, this should be sort of close. Some of these have been final instar for over a week. But I think it's gonna take about 1 more week for them to
actually reach their full form, their final size, their full size, whatever. Not a native English speaker, I use silly words sometimes. Wow, look at that, like wow. It's just wow, 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 wow. I just want to scream because it's so pretty. Ah! So there you go. Ah! Okay, kinda. Let's never do this again. That was cringe. That was really cringe. I'm sorry. But wow, seriously, man. Dude, this is a must breed species for every breeder. Must breed. Must breed. Like, wow. I have no words. I've rarely seen something so beautiful. And it's just fantastic. It really is. You know, just look at this. Just look at this. So amazing. So beautiful. So powerful. So gorgeous. Like, hey guys, are there any jewelers watching my videos? Because man, we should do like a collaboration. We should make like jewelry of these caterpillars. I think it would sell. Like, just make a model of these caterpillars and encrust them with gemstones and sell them to people. It would be a very original design, wouldn't it be? One thing that has always made me sad is that when you looked into the life cycles of butterflies and moths, you will see exceptional beauty. You'll find exceptional complexity. You'll find exceptional shapes and colors. And people don't care. You know, people don't care. They're not impressed. So that's sad, man. There's so much beauty in this world that we ignore every day. And that's why I've started my channel. Because believe it or not, these animals deserve conservation. These animals deserve protection. These animals deserve recognition. Now everybody knows about monarch butterflies. Everybody knows about swallowtails. But who knows about the thousands of moths of this world that are ignored? Don't get any attention, you know. Make people aware. This is awareness for this type of wildlife that is just ignored. Alright, it's time to put them back. Let's see. Let's put you guys back. Go on here and feed. Go on here, my babies. Go on and feed. Yum, yum, yum. You deserve it. Have some fresh leaf. Yes. There's more of them in here, such as this one. I didn't even take all of them out, as you can see. I think that we have about a dozen in total. Now, one thing this species likes is dry conditions. So, why am I spraying them? Why am I spraying them with water now? Well, it sounds like a paradox, but species that live in a dry setup, actually they love to drink. Why? Because it's dry. If you're in a desert, you would like to have a drink of water. But important is that the water can dry up after you spray, so that their container and the conditions that they live in don't become humid, right? So I let them dry out here in the air. So a little bit of water they do like from time to time. Very mild misting, so they can drink the water. They seem to enjoy that.
If this isn't a dream species, I don't know what is. Wow. It's kind of like a polyphemus moth for rich people, isn't it? That's how it feels. Let me put the lid on. There you go. Enjoy the food, guys. Enjoy the food. Yum, 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 yum. But then it finally happened. I saw their first friggin' cocoons. Oh yeah. Guys, finally we have a little bit of an update. I was checking the larva carefully and I noticed something. Let me show you. This dude here in the back, can you guys see what he is doing? See that web? What's happening? Has he become a spider? No, guys, you know the drill, you've seen my videos. This caterpillar has started spinning a cocoon, and that's a very important update because this is the first caterpillar making a cocoon. Interestingly, this species seems to take its time when spinning a cocoon. It's kind of building it very slowly. It's building the foundation, but I'm willing to bet that in about 24 hours it will have encased itself in silk, which is excellent, which is amazing, which is everything we've dreamed of. So, looks like the first Antheraea montezuma cocoon could be a fact. There you go. Cocoon! I'm not going to do much because I don't want to disturb the cocooning caterpillar, but it's good to remove some of their droppings because they do poop a lot. Nobody likes poop. Alright people, that's it for now. I just wanted to show you the fact that one of them is making a cocoon. That's all. Fantastic though. And then, a few days later. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a small little update. We're gonna check back on the Montezumas, and let me dismount the camera here for a bit. I was greeted by two beautiful oval small cocoons. Take a look. So here we have our first cocoon of Antheraea montezuma, and the shape of it is interesting. It is perfectly oval. Kind of reminds me of an egg somehow. Very interesting looking cocoon, for sure. So it seems that one of the caterpillars is cocooned, but here in the back, once again, if we look a little bit closer, we find our second cocoon as well. So that means not one, but two individuals this week have finally finished their development. For me, that's excellent news. This is a species that I wanted to raise for ages. And with that, I'm actually very happy. So I'm gonna use scissors to cut it off the branch. And then collect it with my hand. So there you go. This is our first official Antheraea montezuma cocoon. And that, my friends, is a great thing. It's kind of a rare species. It's not raised very often by anyone. So to be among those people, it's an honor for me. It's something I wanted to do for a long time. So far raising it has not been difficult, but in my opinion they are a lot more difficult than polyphemus. Some of you know their cousin Antheraea polyphemus. In my opinion they are more difficult than polyphemus for sure, but not super difficult really. You do need a little bit of experience though. Come on, annoying cocoon, why don't you break free? There you go folks, amazing. Check this out, we have our first two cocoons. So yeah folks, check it out, it's amazing, our first two Antheraea montezuma cocoons.
So this species, it only has one generation per year. So the cocoons of this species, they always have to hibernate before they turn into moths. That's interesting. But yes. Awesome. It's been very dry this week, so I'm actually going to spray the caterpillars a little bit with water. I don't usually do this, but it's been so dry and they do like to drink sometimes. Let's see how the rest of you silly bastards are doing. Ah! Well, it's looking fine. I'm not gonna show you the larvae all over again, because in this episode I make like 1 million close-ups of them. But seriously though, looks like they are doing quite well. Let's check out the other larvae here. Yeah, their size, their shape, their color seems to be kinda healthy. More caterpillars. So that's 2 down. And how many more to go? Well, looking good to me so far, folks. If you ask me, this is some good stuff. Yeah, these should pupate soon, I think. Let's see. Whoa, sorry guy. This one is also getting quite big, isn't it? Let's see. Very nice. To me they all look healthy. I don't see any signs of trouble or unhealthiness. So it's been a good rearing so far, and we are very close to the finish. I'm really praying to the gods. Wait, I'm an atheist. But despite that, I'm really hoping that we are going to pull this off and we're going to get all of these to cocoons without any strange losses or accidents, you know. The thing about rearing moths is sometimes you're so close to succeeding and something goes wrong and it annoys you to no end. Moths are not easy to raise, in my opinion. They are not easy animals to keep as pets. Caterpillars are susceptible to stress, diseases, bacteria, and a lot of environmental circumstances that can not make them thrive in captivity. So compared to stick insects and mantis, in my opinion, moths are definitely challenging at times. There you go. This caterpillar here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this caterpillar right here is actually pre-pupal. So before they spin cocoons, they actually do change color a little bit and they become very light green. They become this lime green. Can you see the color difference? It's very subtle. But if we compare it with another larva, can you see the color difference? So the larva here on the right is dark green, while the larva on my hand is more lime green. And that's actually their pre-pupal color. Just let me give you a quick comparison. So here we have normal larvae who are feeding. And here we have one that's ready to pupate. Can you see the difference in color? So they do become lighter before they cocoon. And I think this one is actually about to spin a cocoon pretty soon. Perhaps within 24 hours. Perhaps this one is ready to spin a cocoon, I think within 24 hours, in my opinion. I think it's going to happen very soon. Maybe I shouldn't be touching it. We don't want to stress it or get bacteria on it that are harmful. Thankfully I always wash my hands before I handle larvae, but still. Let's put you back, shiny little guy. So let's put you here somewhere. Maybe you'll find a nice place to make a cocoon. I hope so. I hope so. Good luck, brother. Oh yeah.
This is one of those species that my fans have asked me to raise for like at least 5 or 6 years. I've gotten so many messages. I think I've gotten over 30 messages over the course of many years. People sending me private messages. Bart, please, will you make a MothCycles episode on Antheraea montezuma? And I was always like, I don't know. They're hard to obtain. They're difficult to breed. It's a rare species. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if they're too difficult. But we are literally pulling it off. And for that, I'm happy. I hope that you, my viewer, are also happy. I'm really doing my best to entertain you guys and make a really cool episode of an awesome species. I hope this will be as satisfying to my fans as it is for me. First to cocoons, people. Antheraea montezuma. If we even can get to 10 cocoons, just 10 cocoons would make me so happy. In my opinion, 10 cocoons of a species that's this unusual is already a lot, right? Of course, more is better, but I think 10 would be great. So, yeah. Not many people are capable of even obtaining this species and raising them as well. I've been in the hobby for a long time, and I don't see them offered very often, only like once every few years or less. And it's one of those legendary species that I need to have on my channel. Another one I really need to film is the Hercules moth. And also the comet moth from Madagascar. You know, Archemamitriae and Coscinocera hercules would be amazing. I still have to do the Spanish moon moth. Graelcia isabella if I can. But we are slowly getting there, you know. It takes a lot of time to produce these episodes. The life cycle of this insect takes a whole year. Cocoons will always hibernate, so it takes literally a whole year. That's the crazy thing. I'm working hard behind the scenes raising insects for you to film on YouTube, but you guys, you gotta be a bit patient. Trust me, I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it behind the scenes. Helps if you support me. I'm doing this for free. Well, I'm not. I have a lot of crowdfunding. But my channel is permanently demonetized by YouTube. So YouTube is not supporting me. I don't have any sponsors. So, but yeah. I'm glad. It also feels like lately I've becoming more skilled at breeding moths, you know. The result that I have with caterpillars has been improving. I've been having less and less mortality. And I feel like as a breeder I'm slowly going from level 1 to level 2, you know. I'm raising some more rare species behind the scenes that you'll see soon. So that's good. You'll see I'm not just bluffing. You'll see the stuff that I upload. There's gonna be some really awesome species. But yeah. I'm satisfied. Now I think we have 2 or 3 weeks left before all of these spin cocoons. The final instar of this species does seem to last a long time. I think... I haven't counted how long they've been in the final instar. But I feel like it's been 2 or maybe even 3 weeks or more. And some of them are still feeding. That's interesting because the first instars, they were very fast. But the last instar is very long. That's normal for most moths. But for this species the difference is even a little bit bigger, I feel. I don't know, I should check my records. I've actually written down all the notes and the dates that they molt and such. But I haven't checked them. I should consult those sources. Fantastic. I'm really happy. Moths make me happy. They fill my heart with joy. Anyway, let's check back later, guys. Sadly, not all my caterpillars made it. Near the end, when they were making cocoons, a few of them had died. But I don't think it's a big issue. It's pretty normal if you breed moths, actually, for a small portion of your population to pass away. It sounds crazy, but they are super sensitive creatures, even if you do everything right. And as a matter of fact, even in nature some of them die. Only the strongest make it. It sounds cruel, but that's how nature is to butterflies and moths. And then, a few days later. Well, people, I was checking the cage today and saw a lot of developments. Oh my gosh, let's take a look. We have to be careful right now. Oh yeah, let me show you. First of all, how do you like my socks and slippers, huh? Ooh, very nice. Anyway, awkwardness aside, I noticed a huge amount of cocoons are forming here. First of all, I noticed this cute egg-shaped thing that was spun here in the netting. I'm immediately going to take it. It's our newest cocoon. Come on. Oh, huh? What's this? This is so strange. Huh? Ah, it's woven this funny little... You know, these cocoons are usually attached by this string of silk, a pad. It's funny how that was attached to the netting. Let's place it here for a second. But if we look here in the vegetation, you can see, oh yeah, that's a lot of cocoons that are in the process of forming, isn't it? This caterpillar is absolutely spinning. Here on the floor, see another caterpillar slowly spinning a cocoon. Can you see that? So that's fantastic. Means lots of cocoons are forming. Some of them are still in the larval stage, such as this one. But that's fine. Slowly we are getting there. Oh, look at that. Aha, here's another cocoon. Oh my god. We are actually doing it. Let me take my scissors for a moment. Hop. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have some bad news, unfortunately. Despite the fact that we had cocoons, some of the last caterpillars are struggling to grow. And as you can see, they're even shrinking in size. I'm not sure why this is or why it happened. It kind of sucks. And some of them are dead. It's like this one has died. Can you see it? This one is dead. Rest in peace, my friend. Rest in peace. It's a shame that you never got to grow into a beautiful moth. I'm not sure why it's dead, but it's like suddenly some of the caterpillars that didn't cocoon yet, they just stopped growing for a reason. I don't really understand. Maybe they've gotten sick, maybe they have an infection or a disease. I do say it's very unfortunate. I don't have much hope for the other caterpillar. It's very small. Their size should have been much bigger right now. Most of them should have cocooned, in fact, but they didn't, and something is up. Maybe it's some kind of sickness that they have, a disease. It's a little bit disappointing if you ask me. But at least we got some cocoons, and these caterpillars may not make it, unfortunately. But we do have like 7 cocoons. That's not much, but it's something. And then, a few days later. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is autumn here right now. Just had a look at my Montezuma. As you can see, the last caterpillars have finally made their cocoons. So I guess I can disassemble this right now. We don't need this anymore. The rearing is finished. We have all the cocoons we need. There you go. So I'm just gonna show you soon what to do with the cocoons and how to treat the cocoons of this rare species in captivity. So we did have some unfortunate losses at the end, but that's not the end of the world. It happens sometimes if you raise moths. It doesn't always go perfectly. And I think it's still acceptable survival rate that I had. So yeah, finally, cocoon stage.
Now there was one cheeky caterpillar and I lost it. It just vanished. I don't know where it was. This caterpillar escaped. I don't know where it is. This is just some old footage of the caterpillar that was stubborn and ran away. It was my biggest caterpillar too, so I was pretty upset about it. It's a bad thing to let exotic pets escape, but at least they are indoor, right? Well, funny thing is, I found it a few days later in a weird place. Let me show you. So, guys, I was looking for some of my cocoons. I'm collecting them, and my mom wanted to show me something. Come here, Mom. Let me show it to our YouTube fans.
Look.
Look. It's better if you sit here, so you're in the picture, see?
Okay. Look what I found. This is my knitting bag with knitting wool, and look what's here.
So, one of my caterpillars escaped because my mom found a cocoon on her knitting basket. Can you see it?
Well, it's a nice place to be a cocoon.
I had no idea it was missing.
So much colors.
Just look at that. Now, usually I don't let my animals escape, but I guess this one found its way out of the container when it was looking for a place to spin a cocoon. So there you go, we have one extra cocoon. I'm gonna take it out. There you go.
Wow.
Silken cocoon.
It has good taste though.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. That was it. Yep. So look at that, guys. Apparently we have an extra cocoon. Maybe when I wasn't looking, one of my caterpillars escaped and just made a cocoon on my mom's basket of yarn that she uses for knitting. I'm not sure why this one has a very long silk pad for some reason. It's kind of funny. But yeah, that's one extra cocoon. I can't believe we did it. I can't believe it. We did it. If you told me 10 years ago I would have the biggest moth channel on YouTube and I would be the one to film the life cycles of the rarest silk moths in the silk moth hobby, I would have fainted, but it's happening. I'm living my dream. And I'm not stopping until I filmed all the cool species for you. Antheraea montezuma is a legendary species. Antheraea montezuma is a somewhat difficult to rear sometimes species. Somewhat not super hard, but you definitely need some basic experience as a breeder, in my opinion, to succeed with them. It's also not a commonly available species. It's a quite expensive one. It's rarely offered. And I'm out here breeding them. I'm living the dream. So today it's time to do the final counting. All the caterpillars have cocooned, including this one that was in my mom's knitting basket. See? That's a strange one. So let's take that one apart. Now some of them have cocooned in the leaf here of their host plant. So I'm gonna take those out. I'm gonna remove the leaves. There you go. That's better. Ooh, it's windy. There you go. One cocoon. See what else we have. Aha! Another cocoon here. Let's see if we can take it off. Sorry, little one. Ah, it's stuck. The silk is very strong. I have to use my scissors here for a moment. Let's see. There you go. Aha! Another cocoon. Just carefully collecting them all. Let's see, no more cocoons. It's crazy how long the leaves of this type of oak tree can stay fresh. The evergreen oak tree. This is a very old branch and the leaves are still green. Evergreen oak is really useful actually. It's almost like pine tree, it hardly dries out. Even if you cut the branches, that's useful. There you go. Let's see what we got. Alright, so what's the final score, boys? The cocoons vary in color. Do you see that? All of this is Antheraea montezuma, but if we look close we can see yellowish, grayish, brownish. Just goes to show not every cocoon is the same. There you go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Aha! 11 cocoons of Antheraea montezuma. So I'm going to take these beautiful cocoons. So the thing about this species is they only have 1 brood per year. What does that mean? It means the cocoons of this species always hibernate. Yeah, you need to store the cocoons cold for several months. Store them cold for several months. And only then will they hatch next spring, next summer. Kind of like the robin moth or the European emperor moth, Saturniidae perfonia. Species like that, or even the hickory horned devil, Saturniidae regalis. Examples of species that only have 1 brood per year. So I'm gonna store them cold soon, and how I do that I will show it later. But first, this is the final countdown. Now it's the final count of how many cocoons we have. It's looking good. I'm happy. It's not a 100% survival rate, but it's like a 50% survival rate. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for a rare species like this one, you know. It's my first time ever that I'm raising them, so I'm just experimenting. But here you go. So what to do with these cocoons? I'll show you later. I'll give them about 1 more week, just so that the larvae have time to pupate inside the cocoons without immediately going into cold storage. The pupa have to form first. And then I'm gonna place them outside in my garden. And you're probably gonna be like, what? It's a species from Mexico. Mexico is subtropical to completely tropical. What are you doing? Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. These moths actually hibernate in Mexico, and for one thing I know, the cocoons are surprisingly cold hardy. I'm gonna prove it to you. Let me show you later. So not much is known about the species in nature. It's a rare species, it's not studied that often. But from what we know is they have a long brood. In nature they are found like from May to September, which might suggest that there is either at least 2 broods or there is just 1 long brood. You see, there are some species that in nature only have 1 brood, but the moths just come out over a very long spread out period of time. What's interesting is if you raise these moths in captivity at least, the cocoons, they tend to hibernate until next spring. This is evidence for the fact that they only have 1 brood per year. We aren't entirely sure, but that's what mine did in this video, and I was confident that I needed to hibernate my cocoons until next year, which means storing them cold until the next spring. It's the same that would happen in nature. Alright folks, this place behind me looks like trash. That's because it literally is trash. I'll show you what it is. So, okay, this is the shed in my garden, and as you can see, I need to clean it up. And I'm going to clean it up soon. actually. I'm going to clean it up today. But most important for you to know is that this is outdoors. This is outside. And as messy as this place is right now, I have to apologize for that, guys. I have to say I'm naturally a very messy person, so... however, we're going to talk about the cocoons of the rare species that we raised today, the Antheraea montezuma. It's a rarity. It's one of the rarest moths on my channel so far. You don't see these in captivity very much, and I'm very proud to have raised them. But the interesting thing about them is I've been told they have only one generation a year. The moths will come out around June, July, maybe even a bit later. And the cocoons must hibernate in a cold environment. Now, if you've seen some of my other moth breeding videos, in particular MothCycles, you know the drill. How we hibernate stuff by placing it outdoors in the cold. So I'm gonna add some little cloth here to their plastic container. This is going to be isolation for them. A little bit of insulation helps against the harshest of cold. But other than that, what I am going to do, yes, that's right. I'm going to take these cocoons and place them outdoors. Here in my garden, exposed to the cold temperatures. Yeah, don't mind the mess. Okay, I like I said, I have to clean this shit up. But more importantly is I'm going to leave these outdoors until spring, pretty much. Now guys, I'm not kidding when I say we're going to keep the cocoons outdoors in the cold. I've been told that they are very cold hardy. It seems crazy that a species from Mexico can hibernate outdoors in the cold weather of the Netherlands, but I'm confident that they can. So let's see what happens if we just keep them outdoors until spring. Alright folks, so right now we wait while my moths are hibernating, they are overwintering. Something a lot of people don't consider is the production time of my videos. Some of my videos take a very, very long time to produce. I do a lot of effort, guys, in this channel. And as you can see, multiple seasons pass while I'm raising moths. A lot of species have to diapause or hibernate. And during this time I have to wait 3 to 6 months. While winter is just passing. I mean, have a little bit of snow today even, just to prove it's actually winter. And what I'm doing now is I'm waiting for spring. I'm waiting for spring to arrive so I can warm them up and we can continue to breed the insects. Winter is a very boring time for a moth breeder. Usually I take a break from breeding insects, or I travel to tropical country instead. Ooh. Yeah, it's cold. Ooh. Now guys, it is the middle of winter in the Netherlands and the cocoons of the Antheraea montezuma are still overwintering outdoors. This will be shocking to many people, because this is a species from Mexico. And a lot of people think, well, it's... Woo! That was a gust of wind. Mexico is very hot, right? Mexico is very warm. Mexico is almost tropical. Well, that's a bit of a generalization. There's a lot of environments in Mexico. And where this species comes from is high altitude. So they actually face cold temperatures and they are actually very cold resistant. I've worked in the tropics, I worked in the rainforest, and even in the rainforest, especially on the mountain tops, it gets very cold at night, sometimes even freezing. It depends on how high the mountain is. Also, I believe the south of Mexico is fully tropical, but the rest of Mexico is more temperate. It's more like subtropical. If you don't believe me, the cocoons are still here outdoors in this little box. I put a little towel to keep them warm.
They still look very good and healthy. I can feel by their weight. They're definitely still alive. That's great. And I have no doubt that if in spring I warm them up, I'm going to have an awesome, healthy bunch of moths. Fingers crossed, of course. Fantastic. And eventually in spring I had to warm the cocoons up. Wow, it's getting dark while I'm filming this. But it's okay, it's just the intermissions, right? They're not so important. Let me show you what happened. After having been in the cold for almost half a year outdoors in the Netherlands, I bring them back indoors because spring is coming soon and I want to warm them up gradually. So yeah, there we go. And before you know it, big shocker, my first moths had come out. Finally. Ladies and gentlemen, I was checking up on my moth cocoons. And I noticed some... Ladies and gentlemen, I was checking up on my moth cocoons. I do routine checkup, but I noticed something weird. One of them has a hole in it. How is that even possible, man? Oh wait, something must have gone out. Where is it? Oh my god, could it finally be? Woohoo! No, oh my god! Oh my god, we have to be really careful. No way. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, its wings are not even dry. I have been a little bit too impatient, but the sun is going down and I really wanted to make a small close-up in daylight before it becomes dark. This piece is very shy, so you have to be very careful about handling it. Let's give it a chance to dry its wings. But wow! This is one of the rarest Antheraea species on the American continent that you can find in the moth breeding hobby, and it's absolutely beautiful. Oh no, there's a strong wind. This moth is so beautiful and we have to be really careful with manipulating it because it's so fresh, straight out of the cocoon. Guys, no freaking way we did it. This, my friends, is Antheraea montezuma. Wow! No way! Everything about it is very extreme, very cool. It's like a polyphemus moth, but a million times more emo. Look at the eyeliner! Raising this species in captivity is one of the biggest honors a moth breeder can possibly have. This ultra rarity, but it's so beautiful, guys. It is so beautiful. I did not expect it to have this vibrant, dark, well, it's almost a rusty orange color, and the submarginal line is just so thick and black. That's so incredible. Wow! And look at the scalloped shape of the wings. It is very extreme. And you can see that this moth is a relative of the polyphemus moth. It's very obvious that they belong to the same little group. That is just so amazing.
We did it! Woo! I'm so happy. This is a definitely emotional moment for me. Guys, I hope you guys don't judge me for saying that moths make me emotional. They do. This species is a big dream of mine, seeing them for myself in real life. And just getting to enjoy them and their intricacies in real life is incredible! Wow! I love this species. I feel like we should give it some more peace and quiet soon, so it can dry its wings, because obviously it's not finished drying the wings. And I don't recommend handling moths before the wings are dry, when they just come out of the cocoons. But the thing is, it's getting dark. The sun is going down. I really wanted to make a quick close-up of this species before it was really too late. And I have to wait until tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow I'm gonna take another close-up of it. Oh my god. Another rarity on my channel. We are killing it lately, really? We are killing it lately. Have you seen some of the species I've been raising lately with success? It's crazy, we've been doing so well. Like, I even managed to raise the black witch moth recently. And now we have this. And the underside is also really interesting. Do you see this nice camouflage pattern here on the underside? It's really quite cool. And this species, it has two large dark eyes. And what's interesting is the body of the male is kind of small-ish. But the wingspan is kind of big for this small of a body. Oh, those round dark eyes are really cute. Anyway guys, I just want you guys to take this in for a moment. Just peace and quiet. Just stare at the moth for a while, okay? That's what we're doing right now. This is a major victory. This is like, oh my god, I'm so happy. I am so thrilled. I could not be more excited today. Like, everything about this is just so perfect. The moment, the tension, everything is amazing. Wow. Look at those eye spots. Wow. This species is even cooler than Antheraea godmani. Don't know if you guys have seen that episode. It's another species I raised a few times. This one is even prettier in my opinion. Like, dang, I am in love. This insect is so gorgeous. I cannot get over it. Oh my god, this is literally happening. Oh my god, it is so beautiful. I'm sorry for going crazy, guys. In my head I have an explosion of happiness. This is a dream come true. This species I wanted to see is always, you know, is one of the best species that you can raise in my opinion. The caterpillars and the adults are so beautiful. I just think it's so amazingly gorgeous. Wow. Awesome, dude. Absolutely crazy. Wow. People should have more nature in their lives, you know? It makes you happy. Personally, I don't need much luxury to be happy. I don't need much material goals. I don't need an expensive car, expensive house. It's all nonsense. I don't need to have multiple vehicles and in my own private swimming pool. Ew! Just give me nature and insects to enjoy. They are the treasures of planet Earth. And in moments like these, I am truly happy. I'm truly thriving. I can feel it in my essence, in my soul. I am radiating happiness. Like, this is just pow. And I know it's gonna sound silly. People are gonna say, Bart Coppens, he is crazy. Well, maybe I am crazy, I admit it. I am very crazy. But at least I am happy. Can you really say that about yourself? Are you happy? I hope you are. Everybody deserves to be happy, in my opinion. Everybody. In fact, I think the people who are mean are probably people who aren't happy on the inside. Look at this cute antennae. It's so fluffy. I don't like that it's starting to vibrate its wings. It means it's getting ready to fly. I think I may have stressed it a little bit too much, so I'm gonna bring it back indoors into its enclosure. And we're gonna wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow I will report back. And it would be even better if like a female or something came out. That would be really perfect. Wow. If we can end this episode with a pairing, I would be like triple happy. I'm already double happy. But it's gonna be tricky. We have like 15 cocoons, I think. It's a decent amount, but you still have to be lucky for a pairing to happen. It may not happen. Either way, we raise this species and that's what counts. Alright, buddy. Let's put you back. You are the star of the show, but you need some time and space and pride. I should clean this cage. It's getting a bit dirty in here. Ah. It has to stop walking any minute. Just sit still. Just find a comfortable place to sit. And hang. And to dry your wings. No, don't go there. Don't go there. You're gonna fall down. Don't be silly. Right, I've provided it a stick that hopefully it will hang on to. Come on, Mothy. Just sit there on your stick. That's where you belong. Just hang there. Alright, that's more like it. I've placed him on a stick. And on the stick he seems to be more docile now. Your wings are not completely dry. So he has to sit here for a while and just dry the wings. Make them harden. I'm very good at handling moths. I know how to touch them without damaging or injuring them. If you are a moth breeder, I don't recommend that you touch your moths if their wings are still soft and drying. I'm a little bit impatient, but this is a really special species and special occasion, so I couldn't control myself. But everything went well and no harm was done. And now we wait. Tomorrow we can do another close-up of the same one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the morning after, and today the insect's wings are finally dry and fully formed. And of course we're gonna do another close-up because the one I did last night was hasty. But also because since its wings are now dried out and firm, now we can really see their true shape and form. Oh my god, it is so beautiful, guys! It is so beautiful! Oh my gosh. I can't believe this really happened on my YouTube channel. Now what do you guys think? Is that not one stunning and gorgeous insect? Wow. Would you just have a look at that? Amazing. Have to be really careful because this is a jumpy species. They can get scared. So as you can see, it's the male of this species is sort of large. Like this species is not like super mega ultra big, but it is large. And I'm just doing the absolute best to give you the highest quality close-ups that I can possibly provide right now. This is just amazing. Look at it. It's so beautiful, guys. Would be cool if more of them came out so they can pair. Hopefully that's not too much to ask. Wow.
And then more moths came out. Let's see it.
Gosh, guys, today I checked my cage and there's multiple new individuals, but the bad news is though there are only males. Okay, that's kind of annoying. I really need a female. I really need a female.
Wow! What are these, ladies and gentlemen? They vary so much in color, don't they? And I have several of them. They really look like polyphemus moths, don't they? But they really aren't. This is actually a sister species of the polyphemus moth that is endemic to Mexico. This one is called Antheraea montezuma. And it's one of the rarest silk moths in the silk moth breeding hobby.
Guys, I am utterly stunned. I am utterly amazed. I am utterly flabbergasted. Wow, 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 wow. Look at these moths and also their color variation. This one here, oh great, one of the moths just jumped off my hand. Notice how this moth here is kind of sand colored, kind of brownish almost. Oop.
Now, one thing about this species that seems really cool is their variability. As you can see, they have several color forms. This one here, for example, seems to be rather orange. Its color is quite dark, as you can see. I would describe it as rusty brown to orange. And so is this one over here, this male, which doesn't seem to like to open his wings at the moment. That's fine. If we nudge it open, you can see it is the orange form. But the third male that we had, well, his color is more like caramel, I guess. It's more sandy. So if it involves this species, there is a lot of variation, as you can see. Highly, highly, highly variable. That's really beautiful, although I am quite annoyed that I only have males. I'm really desperate to have a female. There you go. And as you know, in order to mate this species and reproduce them, we are going to need a female soon.
Honestly, guys, this is such an incredible species. I hope you're all enjoying the show. There's no other YouTube channels who are filming the life cycles of these species, let alone filming the species in general. I mean, I'm raising them in captivity, but even that isn't necessary. Even just footage of them is extremely exclusive to my channel. I'm one of the only YouTube channels doing this kind of stuff right now. And I'm really proud and honored that you guys are my viewers. I will do everything to make you happy. I will do everything to show you your favorite species on YouTube. As long as you're here to watch my stuff and share my stuff and like my stuff, I will be very glad to make videos for you and everybody who is interested in insects.
Now guys, the main downside of these species is they are very nervous, as you can see. They don't like being touched or handled, and the slightest movements usually make them fly around in a big panic. It's very difficult to photograph them. So this is a big laundry basket that serves also as an insect enclosure. I'm gonna keep them in here for a few days. But the thing is, these moths are gonna destroy themselves in a short time. They fly around a lot. It's a very active species, and to be honest, in a few days these males are gonna destroy themselves and wear themselves out completely. So I do hope that very soon I have to have a female, guys. Otherwise I'm screwed. So I need a female soon. I do. I really do. Otherwise I have no chance of pairing them. That being said, pairing them is not essential. It's nice to end a life cycle with more eggs. That's the true spirit of breeding. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and that's fine. In that case, I'll be happy to just have raised them. There you go. They're starting to wake up and fly. Oh, there they go. Yeah, they're, like I said, these are really active. But let's hope and pray for a female. We have 3 males now.
Alright guys, believe it or not, but another moth has come out. Oof. Let's very carefully try to get him out. He's not cooperative, he's going crazy. Sorry for this. Aye. It's a very small male. Let's take him outside. It's a very small male. So guys, we just had a new male who came out of his cocoon. He's very pretty, but to be honest, he's very small. It's probably the smallest male I've had so far. I actually think the other males I've raised are a healthy size, but this one is kinda, I don't know, dwarf-ish. Like, it's not extreme, but he's definitely so much smaller than all the other males that we've had so far. Anyway, he's worthy of showing. It's still a very beautiful moth. Like, look at those unusual eye spots and its hind wings and its color. Everything about it is just top of the line, really. It's an incredible, awesome species. It's so beautiful, but it's a tiny one. So how are the other males doing?
Now guys, I'm gonna be honest. I like to end my life cycle videos with a mating, when a male and female, when they mate and they lay eggs. And you basically, you end up producing more of the same species that you started with. But I don't feel very confident that this is gonna happen. Because we only reared, like, how many cocoons did we have? I think we had like 15 cocoons. I don't know.
But the first 4 moths are already out. And they are getting old. Like, we are already like 5 days later. And as you can see, the moths are starting to show signs of aging, unfortunately. This is what happens in captivity. These moths don't live very long. If you're lucky, they will live for about a week. And that's the maximum lifespan of this insect, sadly. So these beautiful males, you know, they are really awesome, they're healthy, they are beautiful, but they are single. And they are starting to run out of energy. And if I don't get a female within now and a week, they're gonna die. In fact, I think the first male that we ever had is already like on the verge of dying. This moth looks like it doesn't have that much energy left. So that sucks. It's actually kind of painful to think about that we may actually not get a mating. That would be a bit painful in my opinion, yeah, definitely. But there's nothing we can do about it. It's just random luck sometimes, you know. You just need to have a male and female at the same time, and if that doesn't happen, nothing you can do, you know. So all we can do is we can pray, we can hope that right now we're gonna get a female anytime soon. That would be fantastic. If we don't, it may be the end of the breeding project, but I'll still be very happy and grateful that we managed to rear them.
And eventually I hatched a tiny male.
To our newest little family member, I'll say this: let us hope and pray that within now and a few days' time we are going to get that female. Otherwise, it's game over. But we still had a lot of fun. We still had the whole life cycle of an incredibly rare species that pretty much no one has documented on YouTube before, so that's still a massive win. That's still a massive W, that's still a massive, you know, still achieving my goal. But it would be a bit better if we can just end it with a mating. If not, I'll probably try again. So let's put this male in here. So right now we have, yeah, as you can see we have 4 males. So yeah, at the moment we have 4 males who are living out their last days in peace, hopefully. It is quite annoying to see that we just have males. But it is what it is. This hobby also really depends on luck. And if you're unlucky, well, that's just too bad, you know. Moth breeding is not only skill, it's also luck. You have to be lucky. It's totally random. I cannot control the amount of males and females that we have. It's like spinning a lottery wheel. As sometimes you have the luck of the draw. By now I'm gonna do my usual strategy of checking back a few days later. It's all I can do right now, I'm so sorry. I mean, it's still a win, right? Breeding such a rare species, at least raising it in captivity, is a big win. And if we don't succeed right now, we're gonna succeed next time anyway. I know. I just know, because I figured out how to raise them. Next time I'll just raise 100 of them, I don't care, I will. If I can raise a dozen, I can raise 10 dozen of them. We found out the tricks of the trade. And we are going to succeed.
I was really desperate to get a female. To breed moths you need a male and female, it's that simple, and it wasn't happening, so I was getting stressed. But then it happened. I finally got a female when most of the males were on the verge of death.
What's this? Aha! Of course, we have a female now, exactly in the moment that most of the males are looking like this. It's once again horrible timing. Hope that I can hand pair these animals at this point. She's a healthy and active female though. I have a small cage here and I'm about to place here whatever is the new female and whatever is left of the males. Unfortunately, the males have almost completely destroyed themselves. So the chances of them having a normal, healthy mating are already small. Second male that seems to have almost destroyed his own legs and his own ability to climb. So this is gonna look a little bit sad, really. But we have 2 males and a female here, and I'm hoping they're gonna mate though.
Let's be real, this is probably not going to work. Both of the males are in a horrible condition. I don't think they're gonna mate. I have very little hope. I do hope we get a new male though. That would be great. Then we can have a pairing.
Anyway, it's still worth a shot, and if they don't pair tonight, then tomorrow I'm gonna try hand pairing. I don't know if it's possible, but I can try at least. Alright, we're gonna put them out in the garden at night. Oh, the garden is a mess. I'm working on it, guys, don't worry. This is all stuff. This mess I made when I was basically pruning the plants, and I still need to clean up all the mess. But first we're gonna take the cage of the moths and place it in my garden shed here somewhere safely. Let's place it here on the floor. So here the situation is we have a male and one female and two males together in this cage. These stones are bright so the cage does not get blown away by the wind. So it's stable and firm. I apologize if this is cringe content. I was really rushing this because the female just came out at the middle of the night. I don't know what to do. If they don't mate by tomorrow, I'm gonna have to try a hand mating. Whew, sorry for this awkward, messy footage. Guys, I'm really annoyed. A female just came out and I'm annoyed because most of my males, they look like this now. Let me show you. So the males of this species, they don't live for very long. They are some of the most active Saturniids I've ever raised in captivity. They are just constantly flying and flying in captivity so much that these moths destroy themselves completely in just a few days' time. And of all the males that I had, I think I only have 2 males that are barely alive. This is a huge problem because now I don't have any fit males who would ever want to mate with her. Because they are physically incapable, they are too old and damaged. And it's normal, it's completely natural for these moths. It always happens. These animals only live for a week. It happens in nature too. But it's just so annoying, you know, the timing of these animals. Would be so awesome if they mated. So what you're about to see is gonna be sloppy, awkward footage. I have to rush, I have to think about a solution ASAP right now. It's also the middle of the night. I'm gonna put her outside now in the dark and hope that they're gonna mate. Sorry for these awkward images. Maybe tomorrow I can make a more high quality close-up of the female. I'm just really tired and annoyed. I had no idea if the moths had mated. I had even tried to hand pair them a little bit. I haven't observed any mating. But it's deceptive. Sometimes you have something that's called a silent pairing, which means that you don't really see it. That's my cope. I'll see later if the eggs are fertile. Let's see what happened next. I have some more stuff to show you. Hey, what's up guys? Today is the next day. I haven't had any signs or seen any signs of a new pairing, but you never know. They could have mated. But I'm taking this opportunity to show you the female of this species. Oh, she's freaking out. Of course. It's the toughest part is... Yeah, she's freaking out. This species does not like to be handled or touched in the slightest. It's very difficult. Wow. That's highly interesting, isn't it? So ladies and gentlemen, here's the female. Unfortunately, after one night, she already has some minor damage on her wings. You can see on one hind wing, a small piece is missing already. One thing I notice is the females of this species, they are not that much bigger than the males, maybe even smaller. That may sound weird or unusual, but actually in Antheraea godmani it's confirmed scientifically that females have a smaller wingspan than males, but that's Antheraea godmani, another species that's related to this one. I don't know if this is the case in Montezuma or if this is just a small female. Maybe she's just small and later I will have bigger females, I don't know. Or it's possible that the females of this species in general are smaller. She's still quite pretty, but I find them to be less pretty than the males. Very interesting color pattern there though, with the cool eye shade and dark eye spots. That is fantastic though, isn't it? Really beautiful. You gotta love this species. So we still have a female together in a cage with two males. But I don't think these males have enough strength to mate anymore. Unfortunately, which is frustrating. I'm gonna save the eggs of this female because maybe she will have mated, but I don't think it's gonna happen. The timing of these animals is just wrong. I do wonder if it's possible to do a hand pairing with these species. I have one male here, but this male seems to have lost the claws on his legs. So maybe I need to hook him up with the female manually. I have no idea if such a thing will even work. With this species, probably not, but maybe it's worth a try, you never know.
Several days later the males died. Now I have to say guys, I never saw any mating. I never observed a pairing. But that doesn't mean they didn't mate. Sometimes moths can be sneaky about it, you never know.
Now guys, here's the moment of truth. The female could have mated with these males. She's been alone with them for several days. I'm going to take her out and place her into a bigger enclosure. Because, well, more males are coming out right now and maybe they can still pair with her as well. But I think there is a chance that she has already mated. Thing is, I didn't observe the mating, but I was also not observing every day. However, I noticed that she immediately laid a lot of eggs. And despite the fact that my males were still old and even on the verge of dying, some of them could have still mated with this female right here. Sometimes the mating happens quickly and you don't notice it, you don't see it. And the only way to find out is to collect the eggs and see if they are fertile in about 2 weeks. Of course, this is a Saturniidae silkmoth species and these do not live very long. And most of the males that we had are already dead. As you can see, this is what is left of them. A lot of people ask me, Bart, do you ever sell the butterflies and moths if they die from old age? Do you ever sell them to collectors? And the answer most of the time is no. Because this is what they look like after they die. The moths, when they die from old age, the wings will damage because they are flying around a lot in their enclosures and they don't really die in a great condition because of that. But it's okay, it's completely fine. It's completely okay. These animals only live for a week, basically just enough to mate and then die. That's all they do. They mate, they lay eggs and they die. It's actually a lot of effort for an insect that only lives for about a week. Now guys, the female has laid a lot of eggs and I actually suspect they are fertile, even though I didn't see a mating. But there were some nights that I wasn't there to observe and it could have happened. But I noticed that if she lays them all like in one pile, like this, and they aren't collapsed after a week, it means that they could be fertile. Now I'm going to sell most of these eggs to my friends because this is a rare species and I want to distribute them in the hobby. But I'm going to keep a small amount of eggs for myself. Oh, here's more eggs. I'm going to keep a small amount of eggs for myself. You can use your finger to take them off the surface. To check if they are fertile, and maybe I want to raise another generation of them too. I don't know. I like variety. So when I raise a species, typically I don't raise them again. I move on to other species. I like diversity. But this is such a rare species, maybe I'm gonna do it again. Oh, so one female can lay a lot of eggs. I feel as if she laid most of her eggs. I'm surprised the eggs did not collapse. If the eggs are infertile after about a week, they usually have like this indentation, this cavity that forms. I'm going to keep them for 2 weeks, but I actually think maybe she has mated. I'm starting to suspect that she has mated. Really, I am. I'm not joking. For real. Yeah, the males that I had were very old, as you could see. They were very damaged. But I think one of them could have been in the condition to mate with the female. I suspect maybe that's what happened. I don't know, it's suspicious that she's laying all her eggs basically in one pile, very quickly. I cannot be 100% sure, but I think it means that she has mated. Who knows? We're going to keep some of the eggs. I'm going to give some to friends. I think I'm gonna keep like 20 eggs or something for myself. So if there's babies, you'll just see a small amount because I'm gonna sell the rest. But yeah, I have a strong suspicion these are fertile eggs. I guess we can only be sure if the babies come out. The female at this point is very old looking. As I said, these moths, they don't stay pretty for very long. It's crazy how we spend a whole year raising these insects and we can only enjoy them for a few days. I do actually have another male coming out of the cocoon right now, but I think it's gonna be useless. I think she laid all her eggs, so if they mate, it doesn't matter because we're not gonna get fertile eggs anymore. I think all her eggs have been laid probably. And then I had one more individual moth that I want to show off. Now you're probably wondering, why does Bart want to show off every single individual moth? First, because it's a rare species. Second, because this is the long version of the breeding video. MothCycles, guys, I show everything that happens. Well, not literally everything, but as much as I can. And it's a rare species, so I'm gonna add a lot of footage for the really big moth nerds out there who can like stomach a 3-hour-long moth video. I know that there's not many of you, but there is an audience. Let me show you. Wow. What a species, eh, ladies and gentlemen. This is the species for like high-level Saturniid breeders. Like if you are in the top of the insect breeders, if you want to do some of the best species that the hobby has to offer, this is one of them. Everything about them is splendid. They're just like a more fancy polyphemus moth. So the larvae and adults are spectacular. Their shape, their size, their color is unusual. They flip out a little bit if they're harassed or touched. Don't worry, it's not gonna fly away. I know exactly how to handle them and how to control their behavior. What a species, ladies and gentlemen, what a species. This is like one of the top species in the hobby. Like if you are a master level moth breeder and you want the best species the hobby has to offer, that's when you raise Antheraea montezuma. Because the larvae are spectacular, so are the adults. With their crazy shape, their crazy wing shape, their eye spots. This is like, if this was Pokemon, this would be one of the legendary species, really. Sounds cringy to describe it that way, but it's the best comparison I can make. So beautiful. Don't worry guys, I never let my insects escape, never. Some people say it's weird I bring them outside for photo shoots, but I know exactly how to control their behavior in a way that they are perfectly safe with me. I know exactly the limits they can take, how much I can touch them and how much they tolerate it. I have a lot of experience with this. This is a small male, by the way. I think it's the smallest male I had so far. Very beautiful.
Well, guess what? You're not gonna believe it, but today another male has come out, and this is one of the last individuals. After this we only have 4 cocoons left, so we are down to our last moths. I'm going to show you every individual because this is a really rare species that is hard to get. This is maybe the only opportunity I have in my life to breed them. I don't think I'll ever obtain this species again. Well, at least definitely not this year. And I'm not sure if I will next year or the year after that. It's been quite a ride. And this is an episode for the really hardcore Silkmoth enjoying people. Meanwhile, the female has died. Rest in peace, female. Rest in peace, female. She's dead. But the eggs that she has laid have not collapsed yet. Guys, I'm gonna tell you this. If these eggs are fertile, if we manage to raise this species, if we had a pairing, then I'm gonna be really surprised because I didn't see the pairing happen. But it would be a big, big, big achievement. So if these eggs hatch, we're gonna celebrate it with like a special Mexican snack. How about that? This is a silk moth that's endemic to Mexico. Okay, it's not found in any other country as far as I know, except for the country of Mexico. So if we succeeded, yeah, we're gonna have a Mexican party to celebrate it. Because that would be a crowning achievement of my channel. I feel like the breeding project is almost ending. I have 4 more cocoons left, but it's been quite a ride. Guys, I want to thank you all for watching my channel. It really means the world to me. Without my viewers, I would be quite alone in this world. You guys make my hobby better because I have somebody to share all these special moments with, you know. It's just less enjoyable if I'm sitting here alone, looking at my moths alone. I am sharing this feeling with you and that makes me happy. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm really happy that there's people out there who care about my videos. We're gonna wait for the last moths to come out and to see if the eggs are fertile. And if they are, I'll get some Mexican candy or something to celebrate it. But the biggest celebration is the celebration of life. The celebration of entomology and the diversity of insects. Wow. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is cool because as you can see, another male is coming out. Right now he's inflating his wings. A lot of the moths have come out already and are starting to die, but we have some cocoons left here. So
We're slowly nearing the end of our cool breeding project. Wow. Such incredible and ephemeral beauty. Absolutely incredible. I love this species. This is definitely one of the coolest species I raised in a long time. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And then finally, when all of the moths were dead, yes, they were dead, folks, a final female came out. She was actually the biggest female so far. The first one that we got was very small. It would have been nice if she hatched earlier from her cocoons, so had more males and females and more offspring, but this is Silkmoth breeding for ya. It's how it always goes. This right here is another female. The breeding project is almost over and this female is single. She has no males to mate with. Almost all my cocoons have hatched at this point. But I am including her in this video because we got many males, but I've only filmed one female so far, and also this is a really big female. The first one we had was kind of a runt. As you can see, the female also is more... The wings and the edges of her wings seem to be a little bit less serrated. They are more smooth and the wing surface area is bigger. The female actually really looks like a polyphemus moth in a way. You know, the one from North America that I keep comparing them with. It's a brilliant species, I'm not gonna lie. It's so beautiful.
Right, I'll put you on the list. Thank you.
Guys, today I have a smile from ear to ear because you don't believe what just happened. Those eggs I've kept, you guessed it, I was just looking in one of the petri dishes of eggs I collected. Well, let me show you for yourself. Whoop. Babies!
Oh yeah! These eggs just started hatching, bro. And they're alive. They're furious. They are hungry. We have little mouths to feed. And the crazy thing is, this is just one of the many petri dish with eggs I had, so I think I'm gonna have a small birth explosion soon. So they came out of their little eggshells here. And look at that. They probably need food ASAP. That is insane, yo. That is insane. We did it. The babies are hatching from these eggs. Cheers, guys, we did it. Wow. Antheraea montezuma, the whole life cycle. I can't believe it. Celebratory potato chips? You know you're fat when you celebrate everything with food, right? So guys, now that we have completed the life cycle of this species, I would like to educate you about this insect and what makes it special. You see, in my series MothCycles, we always have an educational part if we are successful in breeding something. This web series, I designed it to literally answer all the questions anybody could have about the species. So you see the full life cycle, how to breed them, how to raise them, all the life stages, plus information about their ecology. Let's start that part now. Next generation is here. So what happens to the next generation anyway? Well, I was gonna repeat the process. This is such a rare species. I'm taking one of the only opportunities to breed them. So I'm definitely gonna breed more of them. I'm not gonna bore you with all of the details, however, because we went through the whole process together. These things are for another time, another journey, another life cycle. Sometimes I do several life cycles of a moth in one video, but that day is not today. Besides, the life cycle takes a whole year. But first, let's move on. So how's the caterpillars doing? Well, I'm not gonna show you all of them. But the second generation is coming. There's more of them in here, but they're hidden in the back. Anyway, I promise you guys, if we were successful, we were going to try some Mexican candy, didn't we? I did. Remember when I said it? Let's play it. We're gonna wait for the last moths to come out and to see if the eggs are fertile. And if they are, I'll get some Mexican candy or something. Well, the moth started to pass away from old age. And at this point in the video, I basically had one stubborn cocoon that refused to hatch. Almost all the moths, I filmed them, I showed you all of them except one. And I was afraid that it was not going to hatch. Sometimes cocoons can hibernate a second year. The thing is, I wasn't ready to delay the production of this video by another year just for one individual cocoon. Nearly all my caterpillars turned into moths in this video, minus one single stubborn cocoon. Now I delayed uploading this video for many months because I had the hope it was still going to turn into a moth, but it didn't. It didn't! It's even the caterpillar that ran away and made a cocoon on my mom's weaving basket. If that's what I call it, I don't know what to call it in English. What a funny character. First it escapes and now it refuses to become a moth. Well, I guess that's one moth I'm not gonna show on YouTube, but I've showed you the rest. Yeah, that's the stubborn one. That's the stubborn cocoon that never hatched. But I have to say, guys, thank you for watching. Now we're going to move on to the ecology part of this video. MothCycles is my longest series, my longest production. And at the end of each episode we also have an educational part where we talk about the ecology of a species. Not many people care about this, but I think it's super important. I think it's these kind of things that make the channel educational. I don't want to be like just an exotic pet owner that's like showing off, like, oh, here's my cool animals, you know. I want to do a little bit more, which is also, I guess, educating the world about their lifestyle, where they live, where they are encountered, etc. and more facts. Let's talk about it. Antheraea montezuma on my channel? Can you actually believe it? I can actually, because lately we've been successful with a number of nice species. Let's keep going. And this is another one I can take off the list. This species seems to be lacking an official name, but Montezuma emperor or Mexican silkmoth kind of seems to work. It seems that in the hobby, any species of American Antheraea is a bit tricky to obtain, besides the common Antheraea polyphemus. But maybe it's better if I go to the next slide and show you the species that we are dealing with. American Antheraea moths. So, in America. And when I say America, I mean the American continent. Not just the United States of America, but America proper. At the moment, there's 5 species of Antheraea that are described from America. And honestly, maybe there might be more, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Since there might be potentially undescribed species out there, but it's too speculative to talk about it. So let's look at the species that are known to science at the moment. We're looking at Antheraea montezuma, Antheraea polyphemus, Antheraea oculea, Antheraea meridiana and Antheraea godmani. Several of these species I have already raised on my channel. And maybe one day I'll be able to raise all of them. That would be nice. The polyphemus moth, or Antheraea polyphemus, is North America's most widely distributed large silk moth species. Native populations exist in all US states and Canadian provinces except for Alaska, Arizona, Hawaii, Nevada and Newfoundland. A very wide range indeed. It also has a special subspecies in Mexico and Guatemala, called Antheraea polyphemus mexicana. Yes, that is right. Its range extends beyond the United States in this regard. Not many people know the polyphemus moth is also found up to Honduras and Guatemala as well. So it's not just an exclusively North American species like people tend to think. Most people watching this video will probably be thinking of polyphemus moths in comparison to the moths you've seen in this video, since it's the most famous species. I'm sure all of you also remember my special polyphemus moth video from years ago. Sadly, I overcrowded the caterpillars, which resulted in small individuals. So I'd like to breed this species again in the future and make a better video about it. The polyphemus moth is a super generalist species and the larvae feed on many common trees and shrubs, such as birch tree, oak tree, cherries, willows, sweet gum and many more. And then we have Antheraea oculea, which is found far down into Mexico, but also parts of the United States, such as Arizona, New Mexico and Texas. They really do look like polyphemus moths, except that the forewings have eye spots too. They also tend to be a little bit darker in color, as in they have more darker scaling, but some of them admittedly do look very close to polyphemus moths. The larvae eat a mix of evergreen oak trees and deciduous oak trees, but larvae have also been recorded on Arizona black walnut. This species I would generally love to raise in captivity as well. The biggest species out of probably all of them is Antheraea godmani, a cloud forest species found in high elevations. It's found from Mexico to Costa Rica, Panama to even Colombia. And it is the most southern species of Antheraea on the American continent. It feeds on native oak tree species found high in the mountains in these countries. The habitat in these places tends to be more cool, more humid and misty. It's a cloud forest species. The moth probably breeds almost continuously because moths have been taken in January, February, April, May, June, July, August, October, November, December. Famously, I have made a video on this legendary species in the past too. This rare and elusive species is rather quite interesting from an evolutionary perspective. Another species, newly described, is Antheraea meridiana. It really looks like Antheraea montezuma in many ways, and it is definitely a sister species. However, there were some consistent differences found between Montezuma and Meridiana. This species is from the Sierra Madre del Sur, or the southern Sierra Madre. It is from the mountains, it seems, much like Montezuma and godmani as well. And the fifth species is our beautiful species of today. I'll be more elaborate on the ecology of this one, since of course it is the focus and subject of our current video. Antheraea montezuma is one of our 5 currently known and described species of Antheraea found on the American continent. Not too much is known about it, but we do know that the larvae feed on oak tree. We know its life cycle and more or less where it's found in nature, although there is a lot of room for improvement based on what we know about them. First of all, as far as we know, Antheraea montezuma is also exclusively a Mexican species. In the states of Jalisco, Colima, Zacatecas, Oaxaca, Campeche, Puebla, San Luis Potosí, Veracruz, Hidalgo, Michoacán, are at least some reports of these moths in the wild. It's possible that the species is found in more states too, but perhaps underrepresented or rarely recorded. So who knows? It is found in mountain ranges, specifically in the Sierra Madre in a lot of cases. Except for the other species Antheraea meridiana, which I talked about before, that replaces Montezuma in some parts of the southern Sierra Madre. I've drawn a very crude map here, but it rather highlights the states that it's found in, rather than its true range. So it's more limited to state lines. Antheraea montezuma is a mountain species. It's generally reported from an altitude of 1,000 to 3,000 meters in altitude, in forests. The host plant, as we will also discuss later, is oak tree, and in some of these mountains, they are known to have mixed pine and oak tree forests that are special for the region. Temperatures on such elevations can be milder, from what I can gather. Days can be hot and dry, but the nights can be more cool and humid. Not too much is known about the ecology of the species, but it is currently presumed that they are single-brooded. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, since the recorded flight time of these moths in the wild is May to September, which is honestly a very long flight period for a single-brooded species. But we can't be really sure. In captivity, however, when these moths are raised by hobbyists like me, it seems that the cocoons more or less always hibernate. But the trouble is that these observations are in captivity, and what happens in the wild can always be potentially a bit different. However, the cocoons do seem inclined to hibernate. While people stereotypically depict Mexico as a country that's always dry and hot, most of Mexico does experience seasons and something close to a winter, especially on higher elevations where it can get much colder. This is why the cocoons of Antheraea montezuma are capable of surviving cold temperatures. I even hibernated the ones in this video outdoors when it was snowing, and they pretty much survived winter, all of them. If you raise these moths, the cocoons will most likely hibernate. Store them cool until the next spring. Unfortunately, that is all we know. It's definitely one species that would require further studies. That would be super interesting. The host plant of the caterpillars seem to be various quercus or oak tree species. So what types of oak tree precisely, you ask? Well, that gets a little bit complicated. Because Mexico is a hotspot for oak tree species. Mexico is actually the global center of oak tree diversity, with over 160 species described, about half of which are endemic. I found a list of species found in the Sierra Madre mountain ranges alone, where these moths fly. Oh gosh. Quercus acutifolia, Quercus affinis, Quercus albocincta, Quercus albocoronata, Alpescens, Aristata, Arizonica, Austromontana, Brevicalix, Candicans, Castanea, Chiapensis, Chihuahuensis, Convallata, Corrugata, Crassifolia, Crispipelis, Depressipus, Davia, Discolor, Diversifolia, Durifolia, Eduardi, Elliptica, Emorie, Floculenta, Fulva, Hermana, Glabrescens, Glaucoides, Greggi, Hintoni, Ilci, Invaginata, what a name, Laeta, Lancifolia, Libmani, Magnolifolia, Martinezi, Mexicana, Microphylla, Obtusata, Oleoides, Palmeri, Pendicularis, Pinativinulosa, Polymorpha, Praico, Radiata, Resinosa, Reticulata, Rugosa, Salicifolia, Sapotifolia, Sebifera, Sideroxyla, Skinneri, Splendens, Subspatulata, Tinkhami, Urbani, Vinimea, Exalapensis. I can't believe I actually read that whole list. I need to get paid more for this job, in all honesty.
So guys, here in the back in my garden, there's a really special tree that I've been growing. This is one of the many kinds of evergreen oak tree that exist. As you can see, it's grown really tall, which I'm really proud of, because these are really slow growing trees. They don't grow as fast as regular oak tree. And even regular oak tree doesn't grow fast. So let me show you up close. As the name implies, it is evergreen. It never loses its leaves, even in the middle of winter. Now this one right here is cork oak, Quercus suber. What's funny is not many species like to eat it, because the leaves, as you can see, they are very leathery and tough. Can you see it? It's winter, so the lighting here is bad. I don't have much sunlight, but I want to show you this. So the leaves are leathery and tough. Don't know if you can see that. Let's have a close-up. But that's not all, because currently I'm growing two kinds of evergreen oak tree. They almost look the same, but this one right here is called Quercus ilex. I think it's known as holly oak. And this one right here is the Quercus suber, known as the cork oak. By all means, they are oak trees, and as you can see, the leaves are very dry, very leathery, very tough to chew. So a lot of caterpillars that eat oak tree, they don't really like these types of oaks. But the species you're watching today, Antheraea montezuma, is an exception. And this is actually something I noticed with many species from Mexico and Central America. Which makes sense, because Mexico is a biodiversity hotspot for oak tree species. I think Mexico has about 160 species of native quercus or oak trees. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but many of them include these evergreen oak trees that you can find in the mountains in Mexico. I believe if you go to the mountains, the Sierra Madre, if you're Mexican, please write a comment to support what I'm saying. I'm just a gringo from the Netherlands. I am not Mexican. I would love to visit Mexico, even though I never went there before. But I've read that there's unique oak pine tree forests, which is mixed oak and pine, that grow on high elevation, like in the Sierra Madre mountains. And the native species have adapted to these very tough evergreen oak trees. And Antheraea montezuma, the species you're watching today, is one of those species. This silk moth actually really loves to eat these evergreen oaks. They love it. It's one of the best foods that you can use.
They also eat the regular deciduous type of oak. I've raised them on Quercus robur, which is a European species of oak tree that is normal. It loses the leaves in winter. It has more fresh, juicy leaves instead of these tough, dry leaves. But I'm just saying they're adapted to this stuff. That's probably what they eat in nature. So, and they thrive on it. And I think it's one of the keys to being successful. This type of oak makes them grow much better. Anyway, it's getting dark. I don't like this shot at all. It's hard to film in winter and have the good lighting. Let's move on. Yes, it goes deeper, because they can also eat non-native types of oak tree that are not found in Mexico or in their habitat. That makes sense, because otherwise I would not be able to raise them in captivity in the Netherlands. They can actually eat the dry and crispy species of evergreen oak trees such as Quercus subur. Perhaps the result is even better than using deciduous oak. Now, this species is definitely not for beginners. I recommend that only advanced Silkmoth breeders should try these. Important tip is, first of all, in the wild they might face hot and dry days, but cooler and more humid nights. So the species can possibly tolerate temperature swings and a diverse range of temperatures as larvae. From what I can tell, the larvae do appreciate being more on the dry side. But they don't like to be extremely dry, just more on the dry side. Don't spray them too often and keep the boxes well ventilated. I haven't tried to rear them in open enclosures yet. Maybe I'll try that next time. Although in theory, maybe it could work. Now, I found this species not to be super hard to raise, but it's definitely harder and definitely more sensitive than your average silk moth. So I wouldn't say that they are suitable for beginners, sadly. Larvae seem to grow well on the more dry evergreen types of oak tree for some reason. Is it possible there's more species out there? It might be. Cryptic species may still be hiding in this complex arrangement of Antheraea species on the American continent. That's why it's actually important to raise them in captivity and gather data. There are indications of some specimens from Mexico that look distinct in my opinion, and I've seen some pictures of them too. But I'm not gonna say too much. That is for the taxonomist to do. What is really a huge mystery is that all of these moths have a relative in India. What? Yeah. I'm not talking about the genus Antheraea. I mean the subgenus Telea, which is what all the North American and Central and South American What is really a huge mystery is that all of these moths have a direct relative in India. What? In India? Bart, are you talking about the genus Antheraea? Because those are found all over Asia. No. I'm talking about a direct relative of the American Antheraea moths, like polyphemus, for example, and montezuma. They belong to a subgenus called Telea. So this Antheraea isn't like the other Antheraea in Asia. It's actually a cousin of the ones found in Central, North and South America. Its name is Antheraea compta, and it's endemic to the northeastern part of the Indian subcontinent. And I quote this directly from a scientific paper I found. This disjunct distribution is considered to be one of the core mysteries in Saturnid evolution. Now do consider that possibly the genus Antheraea migrated to the American continent by crossing the land bridge that used to connect the Old World and New World during the last glacializations. It is possible that the ancestral species that made it to the American continent and is now the ancestor of all those species such as polyphemus, godmani, oculea, montezuma and meridiana also had some Old World relatives with a common lineage. And it's possible that Antheraea compta is the descendant of this lineage too. Perhaps the ones that were already in the Old World or lingered there. To me this could make sense. Either the morphological traits all these species have in common existed in the ancestral species and were simply retained. Or the ancestral lineages that made it to the New World and evolved there after coming from the Old World also had some descendants that then again went back to the Old World. So, in that case, they might even have an American ancestor. Food for thought, but very complex matter that I won't get into today. Maybe if we do a special video about evolution in the future. To distinguish these species. I don't think I need to tell you guys how to distinguish Antheraea godmani and polyphemus. They are all quite distinct. But there's two species that really look close to each other, Antheraea meridiana and Antheraea montezuma. They look quite similar. They are sister species. So how to see the difference? Well, the underside hindwing ornamentation differs by the much more undulate antimedian line. Well, I put an arrow there if you don't know what that means. There's also clear differences in DNA and the shape of their genitals. There are also some visible differences in the larvae. For example, the larvae of meridiana are more hairy compared to the larvae of montezuma that can have hairs but tend to be more naked. Studying these Antheraea moths is crucial if you ask me. It's interesting that we spend a lot of attention on just a handful of species from the American continent. There are close to 100 species of Antheraea, and most of them are actually from Asia. So therefore I'll announce that in the future I shall work on trying to raise more Asian species of Antheraea and educating people about their life cycles and importance to the world. We did do one Asian species before in MothCycles. I believe that was Antheraea perni, but I could do more. Such studies do benefit humanity and the environment as a whole. But for today I shall keep it short. I could discuss the genus Antheraea, all the subgenera and groups and the history and the sericulture. But I feel like this video has been too long already, so I'm not gonna drag it out today. Please catch me in the next Antheraea episode, if you're subscribed. I made one promise to you guys during the making of this video. Woo! And I'm gonna keep up with that promise. Let me play the clip, We're gonna wait for the last moths to come out and to see if the eggs are fertile. And if they are, I'll get some Mexican candy or something. Do people care about this? Probably not. I mean, you're here for a moth video, right? But at the end of the show of MothCycles episodes, I usually include an extra message anyway. And there was no way I'm gonna skip that. So I might as well make it more fun. If I look overworked and stressed, then that's exactly what I am. I've had trouble sleeping lately too. So, hey, let's have some whimsical fun. Yeah, I promised. If the eggs were fertile of this species, I was gonna try Mexican candy. So why not? This apparently is peanut candy. Marzipan. Very interesting. I mean, the way it's packed looks cute, right? Let's see if this gringo likes it. Actually, I'm not a gringo. Some Mexican people have explained to me that gringo means American. I always thought it just means like white person or foreigner, and I absolutely dropped that one. Let's try the next one. That one went to another dimension. I'm not gonna eat it off the floor though. My god, I have to be more careful next time. Well, let's see what we've got here. Hopefully this one isn't going to fly away. It's actually very interesting. I like it. It's like a mix of peanut butter and marzipan, but it works.
It's a very interesting combination of like salty and sweet. It feels like a candy, but more savory than what you would expect. Mexico, you did a good job with this. Now, if you look on my channel, you'll see that I actually like Mexican moth species. I'm a big fan. Mexico has such a diversity of insects. I think it's because it has such a diversity of climates. I know some parts in the north are dry and hot. Some parts are almost desert-like and receive less rain. Then there's the part of Mexico that's, I think, near the Pacific coast. I've heard parts of that can actually be a little bit cooler. And then you have the Sierra Madre mountain ranges, mountainous landscapes. Can be temperate climates. And in the south it's basically tropical. I don't know if the south of Mexico, like Chiapas, Oaxaca, not sure how to pronounce that, is almost fully tropical, but with perhaps a slightly cooler season. Because it's still far from the equator. But Mexico as a country deserves more attention. When it comes to entomology, in my opinion. Also guys, this stuff, I promised to try some Mexican candy and I did. I have 2 more. This is De La Rosa peanut marzipan. I like it, it's cute. It tastes nice. Huh, very cool. Now this basically translates to giant strawberry. Apparently it's like strawberry candy. We're gonna see what they are. Well, that looks interesting and a little bit unusual. The weird thing about these is that they're slightly spicy. It's like a strawberry with sugar and chili. You make some strange candy, Mexico. But it's good. I like it. I don't think they're supposed to be this gooey. Maybe it's the way they were shipped. Maybe they got warm in somewhere and they melted. I don't know, guys. Still, the flavor is still there. It's good actually. Really quite sugary, very sweet. Huh. Never would have guessed I'm here eating Mexican candy. Next one are lollipops that have chili. If that sounds disturbing to you, I agree. I agree. Let's give them a try. Huh. That's crazy if you ask me. What a weird flavor that I can't identify. Woo. This is probably my least favorite one. Alright, that's it. I'm keeping it short, guys. This is not a candy tasting channel. It's a YouTube channel about entomology. I wanted to keep it short. But there is something I do have to say at the end of all my videos. Cheers.
I'm not sure how I can get used to chili powder and candy, spicy candy. It's new to me. So I'm not sure if I really like those. But the first one, the marzipan by Del Rosa, that was really nice actually. I enjoyed that one. Very tasty. Now, let's talk about my YouTube channel. Especially you, my viewer. Hope you were entertained by the video I made today. I just want you guys to know that if you watch closely, in this video there was winter. Now guys, it is the middle of winter in the Netherlands and the cocoons of the Antheraea montezuma are still overwintering outdoors. And if you watched closely, you saw that there was summer. People, right now it is late summer, the sun is shining in my face, and I was just checking on how my caterpillars were doing. How is that even possible? Well, the truth is, it's because these videos, the one you're watching right now, take over a year to make. They take over a year to produce. How many views do you think this video is going to get? I'm guessing about 1,000 after I release it. Maybe 2,000-3,000 after a few years. Maybe after a year or 5, 6, close to 7,000-10,000, who knows. Thing is, it's not much views. Second of all, MothCycles, this web series, I keep them ad-free, which means that if you're watching these long videos, you will not be annoyed with advertisements that interrupt your video every few minutes. If you do see advertisements, it's because YouTube sometimes puts ad on my videos when I don't consent to it, even if I demonetize a video myself. Especially if there's like music and it detects a copyright, then the ad revenue goes to the copyright holder, which is not even me. But I try to keep these MothCycles videos ad-free if I can, so they should not have advertisements. If they do, leave a comment, because that's not supposed to happen. I consciously demonetize these long videos, so you're not sitting here skipping ads every 10 minutes. Second of all, I want to say I've listened to the community's feedback. Many people tell me my videos are a bit too long sometimes. And I'm guilty. This video is way too long, which is the reason why not many people are going to watch it. But I've actually started to make short versions of my long videos. So if you're watching this and you think, wow, this is way too long, get to the point, you know. The good news is I'm going to cut these long videos and make like short summaries of them. I call them like 5 steps breeding, or just a short vlog, or 1 minute life cycle, stuff like that. But I do want to say, for the people out there who still want these long videos to be preserved, I do make them for a reason. Because I do have a core audience of basically the most dedicated viewers, the most moth-obsessed people, that do watch my very long videos, and I don't want to stop making them, although it is very hard. And for that I do have the same message that I usually carry, but I'm gonna say it once again. If you like this channel, if you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're looking at right now, do please consider becoming a member of my Patreon. You see, this channel is still mostly crowdfunded. The good news is, after being demonetized for like 8 years, YouTube finally restored my monetization. So my short videos, the ones that are like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, those should have ads, and when people watch them I make a little bit of money. But for most of my content I'm still doing it for free. The only difference is it's now become a conscious choice. In the past I was demonetized involuntarily. YouTube just demonetized my whole channel. But now I consciously choose to demonetize the big videos like this one you're watching. Because I think it's hellish to watch like a video that's like 2 hours, 3 hours, and every 5 minutes there's an ad. Like, it drives you mad. So this is something I want to prevent. But in return, I do get to advertise my Patreon a little bit. That's the deal. So right now, I think we have close to 100 members. Patreon is basically a platform where you can buy a subscription. Think about buying a subscription to Netflix, buying a subscription to Disney Plus, buying subscription to I don't know what other millions of subscription services are out there. Probably an awful lot. Amazon Prime, I do not even know. And in return you get a lot of stuff. Especially the higher tier members. I actually sent them physical merchandise. I can show you some of that stuff. I'm really proud of it. I designed it myself.
You see all this awesome stuff? Well, if you are a Patreon of mine, I also send you gifts. Make sure that your address is in the system though if you subscribe. That one is important. But my Patreon has a loyalty program. And basically, it allows you to earn rewards. The longer you stay subscribed to my Patreon, the more merchandise you're gonna get. It includes stickers, posters, mugs, sometimes even t-shirts, bags, and mini prints.
And on top of that, there are also certain goals, community-based goals. And when we hit said goals, it actually unlocks a special video on my channel. I've decided when we hit, I think it was $475 as a community, I'm going to produce a life cycle video about one of the coolest silk moths here in Europe. It's called the autumn emperor moth, Perisomena kakigena. It's lovely, it's beautiful. Let me show you a teaser just to hype you up.
Patreon is important, man. The money that I make there is basically what allows me to make these long videos. But if we reach certain goals, I will give you certain rewards. And I was thinking of breeding one of Europe's coolest and most unusual silk moths that nobody talks about, the autumn emperor moth. They look like autumn leaves and are super beautiful. And if we ever make it to the $475 goal on Patreon, I will breed them and film the life cycle for you. Join my Patreon.
And for many years, people have wanted to see the life cycle of the small emperor moth, Saturniidae pavonia. Well, I'm holding that one hostage. Haha, very cruel, very mean, I know. But if we hit the 400, I think it was $85 community goal, then I'm going to produce this life cycle. So this is to motivate you to join my Patreon. If many people join my Patreon and number goes up, it unlocks these special videos. And this will help me produce more and better content in the future, because most of the budget that I have for my show still comes from donations, still comes from crowdfunding. It comes directly from you, from my viewers. So YouTube is not lucrative, especially if you're a moth YouTuber. Not that many people care about moths. I'm sitting here yapping my ass off for hours in every season of the year, producing a video for a whole year for a couple of thousand views, and I turn the ads off. That's the reality of my situation. Of course, donating is always voluntarily. It is never expected. And one of the things that I like about YouTube is how it disseminates free, affordable information to people who can't usually afford it. Reading books is expensive and research is often behind a paywall. This stuff is accessible for anyone. So you can watch the video and learn about your favorite moth species and learn about nature.
Yeah, people have begged me to raise this species, and you know what? I'm going to hold this species hostage. And I'm only going to release the hostages if we make it to $485 on Patreon. Now that sounds cruel, but you know what? My channel has 2,000 free to watch moth videos that I spent over 8 years uploading. I can hold one of them hostage as a way to motivate my viewers to join my Patreon. Because it's super important for me, man. If we reach this community goal, I am going to breed this species and film for you the life cycle. Come on, join my Patreon.
And the only downside of this is that producing these kind of videos is very resource and time consuming for me. So that's why I do have to emphasize things like donations and crowdfunding. I know it's repetitive, I know I say it every video. Most of you probably skip it by now, which is fine. Like all of this is voluntarily stuff. You can choose to just ignore it. But if you like my show, becoming a member of my Patreon is the best way to support me. And the thing is, the more support I get from the community, the bigger and the more beautiful my videos can be. It's very simple. Think about being a game show host or something. I don't know, you're producing a show. The budget that you have, it determines the quality of the show. I mean, I could build a laboratory and breed 1 million moth species. I could make a tropical greenhouse. I could buy a piece of farmland and turn it back into forest for content and show which butterflies turn up there. But these are big ideas and they're not gonna happen based on how much I earn from YouTube. Which sucks. I'm not a capitalist that way. This is also my greatest passion, my greatest hobby. And even if I made no money, like $0 at all, I would still be here and I would still be uploading videos. So it's not just that. I'm not doing this to be compensated. But if I get compensated, guys, then what I can do is so much more. And if you care about my mission and what we do on this channel, I really recommend that you become a member of my Patreon. It fundamentally supports me and what I do. And it helps me make more content. Because also I have to go to work. The more I make on YouTube, the less I have to work, the more videos I can make. Another very simple way to support my show is to send a direct donation. I have 2 platforms. One is called PayPal, everybody knows PayPal. And another one is LiberaPay. And the differences between these two is LiberaPay is more anonymous. PayPal usually gets your information and your email. LiberaPay is more anonymous. I can't really see who is donating from there. But another difference is I think LiberaPay also accepts credit card. I'm not sure. I think PayPal can also accept credit card, but it's different. I think there's more different steps. I think LiberaPay you can do it direct. You can link it directly to your credit card. And PayPal, it's less anonymous, I think. Anyways, it's a bit convoluted, but if you prefer anonymity, you can use LiberaPay. Also, you can buy me a coffee. I have a platform called Ko-Fi. And on Ko-Fi, what happens there is if you send a donation, in return I also make special videos like the Coffee with Bart series where I try Dutch food. I'm sure some of you have seen it, some of you have not. There's another really big thing, which is my Etsy webshop. That's right. Etsy is a place where I sell products. So if you buy something from my Etsy, you're actually not donating, you're buying something from me. But that helps too. I write my own books, my own articles, my own guides. Hopefully I can show some of the stuff I make in a second. But also when my butterflies and moths die of old age, when they pass away, sometimes I frame them. And sometimes I just sell the dead specimens on Etsy. So let me show you a little Etsy trailer, which is also important. You don't feel like donating, huh? Well, that's fine. I also have a shop. In this shop you can buy physical items. It's for the people who don't want to buy a subscription. Perhaps you want to buy some of my framed butterflies and moths. When my moths die of old age, I actually frame them and sell them online. I've also written my own book about butterflies and moths. Well, it's more of a photo album than a book, but I'm still proud of it. And I recommend everyone to buy a copy. It has some really good knowledge and insights. And it's a collector's item. Check out my Etsy shop, guys. I'm sure you'll love it. And then finally, it's also possible to become a channel member, which comes with different rewards. So all these things, you have Patreon, you have channel members, you have Etsy, they all come with different things. If you're a Patreon, your name will be in the credits of the video, you'll get merchandise, FAQs, exclusive posts, stickers, mugs, whatever. If you donate with Ko-Fi, I make these special videos where I talk and answer questions and review Dutch food for some reason. I thought it was funny. And then there's being a channel member, and it comes with a logo in front of your name. And the longer you are a member, the more you get upgraded to a higher tier. Also, it comes with, I think, early access to certain videos and certain content on my channel. Which is different, you don't get that on Patreon, so it all comes with like different benefits. And this is for me to incentivize people to support me in different ways. Because some people prefer to use Patreon, some prefer to use YouTube system. So there's a lot of ways. Yeah. Now I hate to bring that stuff up, but I also don't, because I realize it's important. Is that simple? I can't be here and make these super extensive videos for everyone without a little bit of support. If you thought this video was useful, if you thought you learned from it, if you thought it helped you, was fun, educational, you thought it was awesome, consider that. I'm very happy that we managed to raise Antheraea montezuma. It was always a big dream of mine. What's funny is it's actually not the first time that I try to breed this species. It's my second attempt. But the problem is this species is rarely offered. It's rarely offered. So like only once like every 5 to 10 years you get a chance to buy eggs or cocoons. Some years more frequent than others, when some other people try to breed them. And the livestock becomes more common in the pet trade as people trade eggs and cocoons. But after a while the species just vanish from the pet trade. Because it's a difficult species, not everyone can sustain a bloodline for many years. The first time I tried to raise it, I was actually heartbroken. I think there's an old clip of me somewhere on my channel complaining about it. Number 4. Failure number 4. Antheraea montezuma. Antheraea montezuma is a pretty rare species of silkmoth from Mexico. In fact, it's an endemic species from Mexico. And it belongs to the American group of Antheraea moths that include godmani, polyphemus and oculea. It's a pretty hard to breed and hard to obtain insect. But I was lucky enough to obtain eggs of these moths. Pretty awesome, right? I was psyched to be able to breed this amazing rarity. However, the outcome was disappointing. Let's play the clip.
Antheraea montezuma. Antheraea montezuma is a little bit rare. It's a species from Mexico that belongs to the American species group of Antheraea moths that include godmani, polyphemus, oculea, and perhaps some other undescribed species that I suspect could exist. The caterpillars have lovely shiny iridescent purple patches on their body. Absolutely beautiful. I received eggs of these and placed them on oak tree, which is their natural host plant, and they seemed to develop normally at first. Then I got them to the amazing third instar, but after that, unfortunately, they became diseased and died.
Looking back at that is actually interesting and funny to me. It goes to show how I've grown with experience. Species that I failed to raise in the past are species that I can raise today. And that shows the improvements that I've made over the years, I suppose. That's really cool. But yeah, you don't get many chances with rare species like these. There are some difficult species out there like robin moths, atlas moths, but they are commonly traded and raised, so you can try again and again and again until you succeed. It's harder with the species that are rarely offered, because, well, if it's trial and error, there's not going to be much trials to learn from your errors. It's that simple. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'm going to play the credits anytime soon. There's going to be a lot of amazing moth life cycles this season. I know I'm not always as active on this channel, but I'm always working on it behind the scenes. So if I haven't uploaded for 6 or 7 months or a whole year, don't forget about me. I'm still working to release a ton of stuff behind the scenes. Sometimes I get busy and it takes insane amount of time to produce these videos. But the wheels are always turning. Yeah, that's it. Cheers, guys. Hope to see you in the next one. And consider becoming a Patreon. Oh, dear Lord. I need more Patreons, guys. There's so much cool stuff I could do if I had more. Okay. Thank you, guys. production of this video there was one cocoon that refused to hatch. I thought the cocoon was dead and that the moth would never come out. But I stand corrected because today, months after I edited all the footage, this moth came out. I already edited the video, so enjoy your post-credits, Antheraea montezuma. This beautiful male will die single because all the other moths have already emerged. But it's worth showing him off because this is probably the only time I will film the life cycle of this species. He did lose some of the antennal feathers. I don't even know the name for that, the proper English name. So I will take this opportunity to show you this final moth, the post-credits insect. And I also really want to thank all my viewers and fans over the years who have helped me. Maintaining this YouTube channel is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult to be a successful moth YouTuber because the subject moths is not a subject that most people have interest in, you know. How many people in the world are gonna sit down and relax and watch an hour-long moth video? It's so niche, it's so specific. There's a very small audience for this kind of stuff. At the moment I have like 80,000 followers too on Instagram. Yes, I'm on Instagram too myself, just to milk it for views. But I think on YouTube I really have more of an active fan base. With my small amount of 30,000 subscribers, I have more active fans and more of an active audience than I have with over 80,000 on Instagram. Sorry Instagrammers and TikTokers, your content is worthless. It's YouTube where it's really at. But I do want to thank all of you for following me and engaging, for watching these videos, for sharing them, for supporting me. It's been tough, but this channel is growing bigger, better and more powerful every day. And I don't do it for myself. I am not horny for attention. I'm doing it because I really care about moths. I really want to put them in the spotlight and teach people about their beauty, about how amazing they are. To get people interested in conservation. That's what we are really doing it for. To document animals that nobody else has documented on this level. To make videos about organisms you don't even know existed in the first place. That's what we are really doing it for. To give people a passion about these wonderful, amazing and complex animals. And he dropped to the floor again. And I have to say, you guys have really given my life meaning. You know, having this community behind my back, having all these people support me and my work. It's been really moving, a really emotionally moving experience, you know. I didn't know there would be so many people interested in moths. That support their conservation and biology, you know, and that support me and the things that I do. I think that's wonderful, and I think this YouTube channel is be able to bring big changes in our attitude in society in the future. At least that's what I hope, you know. And every person that watches my videos that we can convert from a moth hater into a lover and convince them these insects are important, are fascinating, that's a win in my book. We are going to continue. Thank you all for watching. This was Bart Coppens with MothCycles. Behind the scenes I'm working on more life cycles of very rare insects. So you better subscribe to my channel because yeah, there's gonna be more videos with more crazy species. See you in the next one. I love you, all of you.